Chapter 4797. On the Mountain Peak by Li Fei gritted his teeth. Damn it. It was indeed this guy. The other party's strength was unfathomable. Wang Zhongluo was carried down, and the people from Dragon Palace looked gloomy. Lan Jilu said coldly, "Aren't you a little too ruthless? It was just a challenge. Why did you have to injure him so severely? Why? Do you think I'm ruthless? How did the Dragon Palace treat me during the test? More than a dozen hunters tried to kill me. At that time, you were trying to kill me. If it wasn't for the rules of Dao's sect, he would be a dead man now." Lin Xian's cold voice was heard, and the surrounding people were in an uproar. There was actually such a thing. Most of them didn't know what happened at the test ground, and they were shocked when they heard it. No wonder this person wanted to challenge Dragon Palace. He was almost killed by Dragon Palace. "Are you sure you want to be enemies with Dragon Palace?" Lan Jilu walked up, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. No one had ever dared to go against Dragon Palace, no matter how strong the genius was. "Why, you're not convinced. If you're not convinced, you can make a move. Even if it's you, I can suppress you with one palm." The surrounding people were going crazy. After defeating Wang Zhongluo, this guy wanted to challenge Lan Jilu again. The people from Dragon Palace shouted angrily. Lan Ziyu even stood up and said, "Kid, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I admit that you're very strong. You defeated Wang Zhongluo and can even become #1 on the stars ranking. But so what? My brother is an expert on the Jade ranking, and he's ranked 24. Do you know the difference between the stars ranking and the Jade ranking? Anyone in the top 30 of the Jade ranking can suppress the #1 on the stars ranking with one hand. What qualifications do you have to challenge my brother?" The surrounding people were also discussing spiritedly. Indeed, there were two rankings. One was in the sky while the other was on the ground. It was difficult for the people on the stars ranking to compete with the people on the Jade ranking, let alone the one ranked 24. How would a frog at the bottom of a well know my strength? Lin Xian glanced at him and shook his head slightly. Lan Ziyu was mad. Was he looking down on him? Damn it. Lan Jilu also laughed. "So you're challenging me?" Lin Xian shook his head. "You're wrong. I'm not challenging you, but suppressing you. You're not qualified to be my opponent." This guy was too arrogant. Countless people were shocked. He Yunxiao's pupils shrank. He felt that the other party was a little too arrogant. If Lan Zilu really attacked, this Lin Xian would most likely be dead for sure. Everyone was once again worried about Lin Xian. On a mountain peak far away, Bai Li Fei snorted coldly. What do a bunch of ants know? Forget about Lan Zilu. Even a #1 on the Jade list was also unable to hurt this brat at all. This was because his opponent possessed the battle prowess of a great sage. Just you wait, that Lan Zilu will definitely die. Bai Li Fei snorted coldly. In the arena, Lin Xian stared at Lan Zilu. He said, "You were the one in charge of the test, weren't you? You allowed your subordinates to try and kill me. Today, it's time to settle the score. How do you want to calculate it? Call your companions over. I will suppress you all by myself." Lan Zilu sneered. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You think too much. There's no need to go through so much trouble to deal with you. Let's have a battle of life and death. After this battle, only one person could survive." Countless people were in an uproar, feeling as if they had gone crazy. A battle of life and death. Did this guy really not want to live anymore? The people from the Dragon Palace were also stunned. Lan Zilu sneered coldly. "Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish." He was really furious. He admitted that the other party was strong, but compared to him, there was still a huge gap. Today, he would take advantage of this opportunity to kill this potential enemy. After all, the other party's talent was too strong. If he was given 10 years, he might really be able to threaten him. Since he had decided, let's sign the life and death contract. Lin Xian had already heard about the battle of life and death from Yurun. Naturally, he knew what to do. He bit his finger and used his blood to write the life and death contract in the air. The battle of life and death was up to fate. No one was allowed to interfere. I will fulfill your wish. Lon Zilu also walked out. He also wrote the life and death contract. 2 life and death contracts were imprinted in the air. Countless people gasped. A battle of life and death was about to begin. The 2 life and death contracts quickly merged and flew into the sky. In the 3rd palace, Yunxiao looked at the scene and felt his scalp go numb. The battle of life and death had already begun. It was impossible to escape. The nimble snake youth had fainted from fright. Now that he had regained consciousness, he fainted once again when he saw Lin Xian about to engage in a battle of life and death. Lon Zilu walked up and snorted. Originally, I wanted to give you a few moves, but since this is a battle of life and death, I won't be merciful. Show me all your powerful trump cards. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't even be able to block a single move from me. As his voice fell, an icy aura surged from his body. It was extremely terrifying. It formed a few ice dragons that bared their fangs and claws. The 7 ice dragons seemed to have been resurrected. Previously, Lan Jiyu was able to form 2 ice dragons and was already ranked 9th. Lan Zilu's strength was much stronger than Lan Jiyu's. In fact, no one on the star's ranking could compare to him. Take my ultimate move, 7 killing ice dragon fist. Lan Zilu raised his fist high and pushed it forward. Endless ice laws and 7 ice dragons roared between heaven and earth as they charged forward with this punch. It's over. It's a sure kill. This was Lan Zilu's ultimate move. It seemed like he wasn't going to hold back. The people from Dragon Palace sneered. This kid is an idiot. How dare he offend Senior Brother Lu? Let's see how he'll die. More people sighed. Lin Xian was a top-notch genius. If he was given 10 years, he would have grown to a terrifying extent. However, Lin Xian was too arrogant. They were afraid that he would fall today. Even Nalan Liang, Lu Yuan, Fu Hongya, and the rest were nervous. Lin Xian shook his head slightly when he sensed the attack. Is this the best you can do? You've really disappointed me. It's much worse than I expected. Your attack isn't even worthy of me taking action. I can destroy it with a look. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said indifferently. There was a golden radiance flickering in his eyes. What was this guy saying? Did he know how terrifying this punch was? Could it be that he was scared silly? The people from Dragon Palace laughed heartily. This kid knew that he was going to die, so he gave up resisting? Lan Zilu snorted coldly. His strongest attack was weak? What a joke. When Lin Xian went to hell, he would know what despair was. Thinking of this, the power in his body became even more terrifying. The punch arrived in front of Lin Xian. There was a golden radiance condensing in Lin Xian's eyes. Reincarnation lightning. Buzz. With a glance, it could see through everything. Lan Zilu's pupils shrank. In the next moment, he felt an extremely terrifying soul energy entering his mind. Then, it tore his soul into pieces. Chapter 47:98. The storm between heaven and earth was still dancing, but the punch had stopped. It was less than a meter in front of Lin Xian. What's going on? Everyone was stunned. Why did it stop here? Could it be that an accident had occurred? The people from Dragon Palace snorted. What accident could there be? Senior Brother must have wanted to suppress him first before torturing him to death. Lan Ziyu's lips curled up into a smile. Her brother was much more powerful than the other party. There would definitely be no problem. But soon, the smile on her face froze. Everyone was stunned. Some were even dumbfounded. In the arena in front, the light in Lan Zilu's eyes disappeared and turned gray. His body landed on the ground. With a plop, the ground shook. The 7 ice dragons turned into ice and snow and dissipated. God, what's going on? Everyone was stunned. Yunxiao was stunned too. He secretly probed with his soul. Then he roared in horror and knelt on the ground, dead. He felt that Lon Zilu's soul aura had disappeared without a trace. There was no sign of life. He was going crazy. Dead. That's impossible. The others were discussing and probing. Then they roared in shock. God, I can't feel any signs of life. His soul has disappeared. Who can tell me what the hell is going on? The people from Dragon Palace went crazy. They rushed forward and probed carefully. Their bodies swayed, and some even spat out blood. Some even fainted. How is that possible? Senior Brother Zilu is really dead. At that moment, everyone's mind went blank. They couldn't imagine that someone could kill Lon Zilu with a look. On the mountain peak in the distance, Bai Li Fei snorted when he saw this. A bunch of idiots. How could Lon Zilu be Lin Xian's opponent? One had to know that even he had been defeated twice by his opponent. This little martial uncle was too terrifying. Lu Yuan and Hong Yi were both stunned. What level has Lin Xian reached? They looked at the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon said, I don't know either. He's unfathomable. These people are no match for him. No, brother! Lon Zhiyu rushed over like a madman and threw himself at Lon Zilu's side. She had gone crazy. She had never thought that her brother, whom she was so proud of, would actually die. Moreover, he was killed by a single glance. She was on the verge of collapse. Damn it, it's you? I'll kill you, she roared angrily and sent out 2 ice dragons to attack Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there without dodging at all. When the 2 ice dragons hit his body, they were directly burned to ashes by the 9 Yang divine fire. The rebounding force also sent Lon Zhiyu flying, his entire arm turning into a bloody mist. How could this be? Lon Zhiyu was horrified. Her full-powered attack couldn't even break through the opponent's defense. The difference was too great. The others were also terrified. They all looked up to Lin Xian. He was simply a godlike existence. It was laughable that they had previously thought that Lin Xian was a coward. Now, they understood that Lin Xian was just too disdainful to make a move. Most likely, there weren't many people on the Jade list who could make this fellow take action. Could it be that this guy was going to directly enter the Profound Board? Countless people went crazy. Previously, Lon Zhiyu had reached the Profound Board in a year. The 9th on the stars ranking was already shocking enough. However, Lin Xian now had the combat strength of the Profound Board, and he had also reached the Profound Board in a year. This was simply heaven-defying. In the history of the Path sect, there were probably no more than 3 people with such combat strength. One of them was the Dragon Prince. Could this guy have the talent of an emperor? Countless people exclaimed. It seemed that the Path sect would not be too peaceful in the future. With such a heaven-defying powerhouse and an enemy of the Dragon Palace, they could imagine how many battles would break out in the future. Damn it, this guy killed Senior Brother Zilu. Kill him and avenge Senior Brother. The people of the Dragon Palace went crazy. In an instant, many people charged towards Lin Xian. Behind them, the Crimson Dragon roared. Do you think we don't exist? He rushed out and waved his dragon claws. At the same time, he slashed forward with his dragon saber. The toad also jumped out. Poison them to death. He shot out poison that filled the sky. Nalan Liang, Yuren, Fu Hongya, and Lu Yuan also attacked. They stood beside Lin Xian and fought in all directions. Lin Xian did not attack. He stood with his hands behind his back. Everyone was shocked. If Lin Xian did not attack, the Dragon Palace would not be a match at all. However, they soon realized that they were wrong. Other than Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon and the Toad could definitely sweep through everything. Even Nalan Liang, Yuren, and the 2 newcomers were on par with the Dragon Palace. Damn it, how was this possible? Were the people around Lin Xian all monsters? Lon Zhiyu flew over again and attacked Lin Xian. In the end, he was sent flying by the Crimson Dragon's saber. His body was almost split in half. Was she crazy? She couldn't even defeat a single dragon? Ha ha! I said I would teach you a lesson. Now, have a taste of my power. The toad also flew over. Divine Toad Fist. In the end, Lan Xiu vomited blood again. Everyone was going crazy. The goddess in their eyes was being beaten up by a toad. Lan Xiu even had the heart to die. She was ranked 9th. She had her pride. What a joke. She felt that she was pitifully weak. She was no different from a worm. At this moment, Lin Xian coldly snorted. A pair of golden eyes appeared between heaven and earth, looking down at everyone. The people from the Dragon Palace felt their souls burning. They screamed and knelt on the ground. They struggled frantically. It was too terrifying. Just one look from the other party was enough to sweep them away. No one dared to attack again. The Crimson Dragon and the others also came back and sneered. What Dragon Palace? It was just SOL. The surrounding people were stunned. The experts on the stars list were also frightened. Even the experts on the jade list were shocked. More and more people rushed over. They knew that from today onwards, a powerful force would rise in the Tao sect. And this force was something that everyone had to respect. Lin Xian looked down and said loudly, "From now on, I will establish my own force, the Divine Abode. I welcome all geniuses to join the Divine Abode." Lin Xian's voice was like thunder, spreading in all directions. Countless people were shocked. Was he going to establish his own force? It was unbelievable. Some people gasped. No wonder he wanted to attack at this time. He was ruthlessly trampling on the Dragon Palace's face. Then he would use this advantage to establish his own divine abode and attract countless geniuses to join. In an instant, many people were tempted. Such a rising genius, and it was just established. If they joined, they would definitely be senior figures in the future. But at this moment, a cold voice came from the 9 heavens. Let's see who dares to join. Chapter 4799. The voice that came from the 9 heavens was abnormally terrifying, causing the surrounding people's blood to churn and their bodies to crack. Their scalps went numb. Who was it? It was too terrifying. The toad, and the others also looked up. Lin Xian also frowned. He could feel a powerful force descending. An expert had arrived. A figure descended from the 9 heavens. He was tall and sturdy, surrounded by dragon chi that turned into 9 true dragons. Below his feet were tens of thousands of streams of dragon blood, as if the dragon god had been resurrected. Was it the dragon prince? The toad gritted his teeth. Lin Xian also frowned, but soon he realized that it wasn't the dragon prince. He had seen the dragon prince during the coronation, but the person in front of him was different. But even if it wasn't the dragon prince, it was still an extremely terrifying existence in the dragon clan. The people of the Dragon Palace also struggled to stand up. Seeing the figure descending, hope returned to their eyes. "Crown Prince, please help. Crown Prince, he's too arrogant. Not only did he injure us, but he also killed Senior Brother Zilu. Crown Prince, you must suppress him. Tear him into pieces." Wars came one after another. The surrounding people also exclaimed. He was the Dragon Prince of the Dragon Palace. Who was the Dragon Prince? Lin Xian frowned. He only knew of the Dragon Prince. Why was there another Dragon Prince? Yuren said, the Dragon Prince was the son of the great emperor. He had been sleeping for countless years and had just woken up, and this Dragon Prince was the son of the Dragon Sea Lord. He was a genius of the current era. Lin Xian understood. This Dragon Prince was equivalent to the top geniuses of the light, and Yi Wudao. Perhaps the Dragon Clan's bloodline was also very terrifying. The Crimson Dragon also gritted his teeth. The Dragon Sea Prince? I've heard of him. Dragon Sea also had the Dragon Clan. The Black Sea naturally heard of them and even had dealings with them, but they had never seen him before. Now, it was the first time they saw him. A cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. The Dragon Sea Prince, Long Ao, also turned his head and stared at the Crimson Dragon. His pupils shrank. The other party's dragon blood didn't seem to be weaker than his. Who was this person? Then he snorted and said loudly, "No matter who you are, you will die if you dare to challenge the Dragon Palace. Now, kneel on the ground obediently and wait for our orders." "Just you?" The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. His roar shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Countless people were terrified. Only now did they realize that they had underestimated this dragon. This guy's dragon blood seems to be weaker than the Dragon Crown Prince. What kind of divine being was this? The Dragon Prince snorted coldly. "You want to compete with me in terms of bloodline?" He took a step forward. The 9 true dragons roared together. Their dragon blood clashed between heaven and earth, and everyone felt as if their souls were about to be destroyed. It was too scary. The Dragon Clan was indeed a legendary divine beast clan. Just the power of their bloodline alone was enough to make everyone despair. At this time, Lin Xian walked out and looked ahead. "Dragon Prince, right? It seems that other than Long Wu, you have the final say in the Dragon Palace. All right, I'll inform you now. I'm about to open up my divine palace. From now on, the place where my divine palace is, your Dragon Palace, will disappear. Do you understand?" The surrounding people went crazy. Is this guy going to continue being arrogant? This time, he challenged the Dragon Crown Prince. This Dragon Crown Prince was completely different from Lan Zilu. Both of them were worlds apart in terms of status and strength. The Dragon Crown Prince was ranked first on the Jade Board. He had the top bloodline of the Dragon Clan and was extremely powerful. Although he was ranked first on the Jade Board, it was said that his strength was enough to enter the Xian Board. However, he was unwilling to go. Such a person's strength was extremely terrifying. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, it was impossible for him to compete with the Dragon Crown Prince. "Kid, do you want to die?" Long Ao snorted and stared coldly at Lin Xian. The sky was filled with killing intent and dragon blood. He wanted to use his bloodline power to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body burned with divine fire. He was like a god of war, blocking all the power outside. He said coldly, "If it was Long Wu, it might be possible. But with just you, you don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. Get lost." "Kid, I didn't expect such an arrogant person like you to come out from the True Path sect. I want to see if you can block one of my attacks." Long Ao roared. He stretched out a finger, and the 9 dragons coiled around his body pointed out. Although it was just a casual attack, it had the power to destroy heaven and earth. At this moment, all the experts present felt their blood run cold. Even some of the experts on the Xian board kept retreating. Too powerful. Lin Xian was unfathomable. "It's over. This kid is dead for sure." He Yunxiao closed his eyes. This time, there would be no more accidents. Lan Ziyu revealed a sinister smile. All right, she wanted to see Lin Xian fall with her own eyes. The others were in an uproar. They felt that Lin Xian was unwise to challenge the Dragon Crown Prince now. "Fight with me? All right, I'll give it a try." How strong is the Dragon Crown Prince? Lin Xian snorted when he felt the power of the dragon blood in his opponent's body. Behind him, the image of a dragon also appeared. It was a sword dragon. It stood facing the sky, and the scales on its body transformed into divine swords. They pierced through the clouds. Lin Xian raised his right hand and shouted. The sword came. The sword dragon behind him roared, and the dragon scale soared on its body, soared into the sky, and fell into Lin Xian's hand. With a clang, Lin Xian slashed forward with his sword. It collided with the 9 dragon fingers. Thousands of lightning bolts fell, and the entire void was completely shattered. At this moment, it was like the end of the world. The 9 dragons roared. Everyone's blood was boiling, and the weaker ones had already vomited blood. Even the experts' faces were pale. The 9 dragons and 1 finger were enough to destroy everything. However, under this sword, it suddenly cracked. Lin Xian's sword was biting cold. It was like lightning, and with 1 slash, the 9 dragon fingers were shattered. The whole world was split into 2. Impossible! Countless people were shocked. The people of the Dragon Palace widened their eyes. This sword turned into an eternal memory in their hearts. After 1 sword, the Dragon Crown Prince's figure was split into 2. Not only that, the earth spread into the distance, forming a huge canyon with no end in sight. The power of 1 sword was terrifying. Was he dead? The Dragon Crown Prince was dead. Someone exclaimed. Yunxiao suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the broken body in front of him in disbelief. How was this possible? In his knowledge, the Dragon Crown Prince was a godlike existence. With a stomp of the other party's foot, countless experts would fall. But now, he was killed by a sword? Lan Jiu knelt on the ground, her body trembling. Her face was full of despair. Even someone as strong as the Dragon Crown Prince couldn't block a sword? The toad laughed. What Dragon Crown Prince? An ant-like existence. How dare he compete with us? The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. Our divine abode will rise, and the Dragon Palace will be destroyed. Chapter 4800. This scene shocked countless people. Is the Dragon Prince really dead? On a distant mountain peak, Bai Lifei also frowned. The Dragon Prince underestimated his opponent too much. Qing Feng said, "It's an avatar." Bai Lifei was stunned. Then he said, "No wonder. I don't think he's that weak." However, an avatar was different from a clone. It was very difficult to form an avatar. Now that he had destroyed an avatar, his heart must be bleeding. Qing Feng also said that he underestimated his opponent. The 2 of them were talking about what was ahead. Lin Xian frowned. So it's just an avatar. He looked at the sky and said coldly, "A mere avatar dares to fight against me? Wait until your real body comes." The toad sighed. The Crimson Dragon also snorted. It would be too easy for this guy to die like this. Don't worry, we'll play with him slowly in the future. The others also exclaimed. So it's an avatar. However, it was much stronger than a clone. The avatar was equivalent to the opponent coming in person. Even so, it was still killed. Moreover, the Dragon Prince must have been injured by the destruction of his avatar. This Lin Xian is really terrifying. His real combat strength is definitely not weaker than the Dragon Prince. He has only been here for a year, and he already has such power. Could it be that his target is the Dragon Prince? He could very well become the second Dragon Prince. The people of the Dragon Palace also heaved a sigh of relief. The Dragon Prince is not dead. However, they still gritted their teeth. The person in front of them is a peerless enemy. The Dragon Palace will be in trouble in the future. Leave quickly. The people of the Dragon Palace have lost a lot of face this time. A star's ranking genius was crippled, Longilu was killed, and even the avatar of the Dragon Prince was killed. They will probably become a laughingstock. Therefore, they were too ashamed to stay here. The group hurriedly packed up and fled in panic. "Ha ha ha! Get lost!" The toad laughed behind them. Lin Xian led the group back to the 3rd palace. In the 3rd palace, the spirit snake youth woke up again. When he saw Lin Xian return, he immediately prostrated himself on the ground and begged for mercy. Yunxiao also said respectfully, "Previously, I had eyes but failed to see. I didn't know how strong young master was. I hope young master can give me a way out." There was nothing he could do. Although he was also a proud genius, in front of Lin Xian, he had no choice but to lower his head. Lin Xian didn't care about this at all. These 2 people were like air to him. He looked at Yen Ruyu, smiled, and said, "How is it Are you tired from sitting? Yen Ryu stood up with a smile after watching a wonderful performance. The people outside were also preparing to leave, but at this moment, a roar came from afar. Amidst the endless changes in the wind and clouds, a powerful figure charged over. There was still blood on this person's body. It was obvious that he was injured. After he arrived, he roared angrily, "Despicable ant, you dare to kill my incarnation? I'm going to send you to the 9 layers of hell." Everyone's blood froze. Had the Dragon Prince come in person? Could it be that a great war was about to break out? Countless people stopped and looked up at the sky. Inside the palace, He Yunxiao and the others nearly fainted from fright. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He strode out and said coldly, "Why? Do you want to be killed by my sword? And with just you?" He roared, and with a stomp of his feet, thousands of dragons roared, and the sky fell, and the earth cracked. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Wasn't your incarnation killed by my sword? How much stronger can your incarnation be? It's easy to kill you." Lin Xian's words completely angered the Dragon Prince. Long Ao rushed down. "Then come. I'll suppress you." Killing intent surged from his body. At the same time, he held a dragon hammer in his hand. The terrifying aura made countless people's scalps go numb. "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Lin Xian took a step forward, and his body also emitted a terrifying killing intent. There was a terrifying dragon shadow sword chi circling around him. Countless people were shocked. Is there really going to be a battle? Even Qing Feng and Bai Li Fei in the distance became nervous. The Dragon Prince's true body wasn't weaker than them. In fact, he was even stronger. Long Ao, stop. At this moment, a voice rang out. "Who dares to stop me?" Long Ao roared and turned his head to look. In the next moment, he was stunned. He saw a woman in a snow-white robe standing beside Lin Xian, like the goddess of the 9 heavens. "Who are you?" He frowned. He felt that the other party was unfathomable and mysterious. The woman in white said, "I'm Yen Ryu. I told you to stop." Who is this woman? How dare she speak to the Dragon Prince like this? The surrounding people were shocked. Even He Yunxiao was stunned. Could it be that this woman has a great background? Previously, he only thought that Lin Xian was powerful. But now, it seemed that wasn't the case. This was the first time they had heard of this name, but when this name fell into the Dragon Prince's ears, it was like thunder. Long Ao's pupils constricted. "It's you." Although he had never seen her before, he had heard of the name Yen Ryu. When he came out to train, his father had told him that there were some people that he couldn't provoke. Among those names, one of them was Yen Ryu. He didn't know her true identity, but it was said that she was not weaker than the emperor, so he couldn't provoke her. He didn't expect that she would appear here and stand beside Lin Xian. It really made him gnash his teeth. Although he really wanted to make a move, his father's warning kept echoing in his mind. He snorted coldly. "Kid, you're very lucky. This time, I'll give face to the fairy. But the next time we meet, I'll personally send you to hell. You're the one who's lucky." Lin Xian also sneered. "I'll let you live for a while longer." "Damn it, just you wait." Long Ao shouted coldly. He rushed into the sky and disappeared. Is he going to leave just like that? Countless people were shocked and looked at Yen Ryu. Who is this woman? She can scare the Dragon Prince away with just a few words? He Yunxiao fell to the ground with a plop. How dare I have such thoughts about such a person? He's too reckless. Thinking of this, he wished he could find a hole to hide in. That woman and Lin Xian were listed as existences that he couldn't provoke in his life. In the future, he would respect them as if they were gods. Lin Xian looked around and said loudly again. The spiritual abode had been opened, and he looked forward to all the powerhouses and geniuses joining. The spiritual abode will definitely not treat you unfairly. After saying that, he led Yen Ryu, the Crimson Dragon, and the others into the sky, and returned to the spiritual abode. Both sides left, but the matter didn't calm down. Instead, it quickly spread. For a moment, the entire Path sect was incomparably shocked. Everyone was talking about this battle, especially about Lin Xian's 3 shocking moves. The people on the star list were stunned. They could only look up to such a person. The people on the jade list felt their scalps go numb. Lin Xian and the others couldn't fight against him. However, the people around Lin Xian made them feel like they were facing a great enemy. Even the people on the Xian list personally came out to investigate. It wouldn't be long before such a person challenged the Xian list. Chapter 48:01. After returning, Lin Xian, Lu Yuan, and Hongye had a good gathering. After all, they hadn't seen each other for a long time. A small banquet was held in the divine abode. Lin Xian and the others took out supreme-grade spirit fruits and spirit wine. The Crimson Dragon even went out to hunt a few demon sages and came back to make barbecue. Good wine, good food, and peerless fairies. Yen Ryu sat there like a fairy who had fallen into the mortal world. She was beautiful. There was a smile on her lips as she quietly watched Lin Xian. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was talking with Fu Hongye and the others. How long have you been out? Where are the others? Are they still in the Xiantian pavilion? Fu Hongye said that the 2 of us came out to train first. We haven't been to the Xiantian pavilion for a long time. However, we agreed that when we were strong enough, we would leave the Xiantian pavilion to train. It's about time. They should have set off too. By the way, Uncle Master, is there any news about Master? Fu Hongye asked. Lin Xian said that there was no news for the time being. However, with the laws that senior brother had grasped, he could protect himself. That was indeed the case. Unparalleled Sage King cultivated the law of devouring and inherited it from Lord Alcohol. Ordinary Sage Kings were no match for him. He probably had a fortuitous encounter and had grown to an unknown extent. Lin Xian believed that there would be a day when they would meet again. Next, everyone discussed some matters regarding the divine abode. Lin Xian planned to let Lu Yuan, Fu Hongye, and the others run it. He was mainly in charge of cultivation to fight against the Dragon Prince and even the Dragon Prince in the future. The Crimson Dragon and the others were in charge of the challenge. Malin Liang, Yu Run, and the others would also fight with all their might. Although there weren't many people now, they believed that the divine abode would definitely grow into a towering tree in the future. They would even trample everything under their feet. The divine abode was filled with joy, but the atmosphere in the Dragon Palace was oppressive. Everyone's scalps were numb. They didn't dare to speak. There were 2 figures in front of them. One was the crippled Wang Zhongluo, and the other was the fallen Lan Zilu. This was something that had never happened since the establishment of the Dragon Palace. More importantly, there was a crazy roar coming from the palace in the valley ahead. That voice made everyone feel as if their bodies were about to split open. They knew that the Dragon Crown Prince was angry. There were a few crystal dragon palaces in the valley. They were magnificent. However, cracks had appeared on them. Even the void in the valley was shattering into nothingness. The Dragon Prince stood in the crack and roared towards the sky. He was really mad. In his opinion, other than the Dragon Prince, he was not afraid of anyone. Even the experts on the Xian ranking didn't dare to challenge or offend him. But now, a person who had just joined the True Path sect a year ago had slapped Dragon Palace in the face and killed his incarnation. He even had Yen Ryu's help. He couldn't do anything. He was about to go mad with anger. He swore that one day he would personally capture the other party and let him know what despair was. Not only did the news spread widely among the disciples, even the elders were alarmed. The place where the elders were at was the core area of the Tao sect. At this moment, several elders were playing chess. A red-clothed elder said that he heard that an incredible little fellow had appeared recently. He had even killed Long Ao's clone. Looks like he's also a heaven-defying genius. Another elder put down a chess piece. He wore a black robe and smiled faintly. Now, martial Dao is flourishing. Our Dao sect has produced talented people. A green-clothed elder who was watching the game said. However, this person's talent was only on par with Long Ao. He was still a little lacking compared to Long Wui. The future of our Dao sect still depends on Long Wui. As soon as he said that, the other elders nodded. Indeed, an emperor's son was enough to suppress everything. The red-clothed elder smiled. With Long Wui as the leader, together with the Dragon Prince and Lin Xian, they could form a powerful young team. They had a chance to surpass the others. Don't underestimate others. Kunpingzi is very strong. I heard that the other two orthodoxies had also recruited many amazing people. For example, the Yi family's sacred body, and the ancient desolate body of the other ancient families. Those people were all very talented. This is a world of great competition. The black-clothed elder said. I heard that in Taiching Ancient City, after the recovery of the Purple Mansion, the geniuses from thousands of years ago also revived. There were even experts from tens of thousands of years ago who appeared. It was said that it was related to the opportunity to become an immortal. No one knew if it really appeared this time. Hearing this, the elders all sucked in a breath of cold air. Their eyes were burning with passion, and they began to discuss again. On the other side, Qing Feng and Bai Lifei came to the outside of the divine mansion again. They wanted to see Lin Xian. In the end, they were directly rejected. Their faces were ugly. Bai Lifei gritted his teeth. Damn brat, why are you so arrogant? Although he lost to Lin Xian, so what? This time, the one who favored Morong Qingcheng was the most powerful genius of the Heavenly Peng clan. He was comparable to an emperor's son. It would be a piece of cake for him to defeat his opponent. Just wait, you'll regret it. Bai Lifei gritted his teeth and left. Qing Feng also snorted coldly. She had never been rejected before. Their faces darkened as they left. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He looked at Yen Ruyu in the mansion and said, Are you leaving? It's about time. I have to go back. Don't worry, we'll meet again if fate wills it. I'll be in the Demon Emperor Mountain. I also know that you're in the Dao sect. I'll let you know if there's anything. Okay, take care. Lin Xian nodded. After that, Yen Ryu left, and so did Lin Xian. After absorbing the Khanate spirit fire, his strength had increased again. He was preparing to go to the sacred Abyss Tower to cultivate again. But before he left, Nail and Liang and the others came back to talk about something, so they had to start accepting missions. If they didn't take the initiative to accept, they would be assigned a mission by the Dao sect. Lin Xian said, Okay, you do as you see fit. Let me know when you've chosen a mission. With that, he left and went to the Sacred Abyss Tower. There weren't many people in the Sacred Abyss Tower, but every one of them was a peerless expert. At this moment, the discussion about Mad God gradually died down. First of all, they had investigated everything, but didn't find any clues. Secondly, after Mad God reached the 3,000th rank, he didn't make any more moves. Therefore, everyone thought that he wouldn't be able to increase his ranking in a short period of time. Therefore, the discussion died down. However, there were still a few people talking about him. When Lin Xian entered the main hall, he heard two people talking next to him. They were guessing who Mad God was. Lin Xian smiled. These people probably wouldn't have thought that the famous Mad God had walked past them. Not long after Lin Xian entered the Sacred Abyss Tower to cultivate, a cry of surprise came from the main hall. Look, there's a change in the honor roll. And it's a huge change. Countless people exclaimed and looked over. Someone had reached the 2,300th rank. Who was it? Was it Mad God? Chapter 48:02. The change in the glory leaderboard made them want to go. They realized that it was a mad god, but 6 paths. They were familiar with this name. He was ranked around 2,500 before, and now his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. This 6 paths must be a great sage from the 6 paths gate. He was a very young great sage. This person was very strong and might become a sacred leader in the future. Many people were talking about him. Someone said, "Look, his ranking is still changing. Is he trying to get to the top 2,000? Countless people were shocked. On the 40th floor, a man used the 6 paths divine fist and fought in all directions. Around him, the sky shook. There were 6 shadows around him, as if they were connected to 6 worlds. His fists were unstoppable. Finally, he successfully reached the 40th floor. On the 41st floor, he was defeated and ranked 2,000. The scattered cultivator of 6 paths smiled. This was beyond his expectations. He was very happy to be ranked 2,000. He walked out proudly. When he came to the main hall, he saw countless people looking at him with admiration and exclaiming. 6 paths was very satisfied. He didn't leave immediately. Instead, he asked for a cultivation room in the main hall to recover. At the same time, on the 31st floor, Lin Xian's figure appeared. This was where he left last time. Now, he wanted to fight again. Lin Xian was stronger than before, so he quickly broke through. 31st floor, 32nd floor, 33rd floor. The higher he went, the more shocked he was. One had to know. In the past, Lin Xian would break through 10 floors at a time, but now he was breaking through 1 floor at a time. His speed was very slow. He didn't know how terrifying the top few floors were. Even so, his speed was enough to shock everyone. Outside, countless people in the main hall were shocked. Look, the leaderboard is changing again. What? That's impossible. Another expert has appeared? Who is it? They all looked over. Then they exclaimed, "Mad God! It's that mad God again! How did his ranking rise so quickly? He was breaking through to the 40th floor. Oh my God! How long has it been since the last time? This guy can improve so much. Did he improve by leaps and bounds recently? Or did he hide his strength last time?" No one knew. But this kind of rapid change in the rankings was really shocking. It was even faster than when the 6 paths loose cultivator broke through. He was already in the 2,300th position. Was he going to aim for the 2,000th position? It was too unbelievable. Look, he's now ranked 2,001st. Countless people became nervous. Then their eyes widened as they realized that Mad God's ranking had finally risen to the 2,000th place. 6 paths, who was originally in the top 2,000, was pushed down. He became number 2001. This Mad God was simply too heaven-defying. They all knew how powerful the 6 paths loose cultivator was. After all, he practiced the 6 paths fist and had a terrifying physique. But even so, he was still squeezed out by the Mad God. They were getting more and more curious. Who exactly was this Mad God? The 40th floor. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he heaved a sigh of relief. This time, he was under a lot of pressure, especially from the 40th floor onwards. Lin Xian did not continue. He had already seen that his ranking had risen by 1,000, which was enough for now. This time, he would be able to exchange for even more resources. If he took out these resources, even a great sage would be jealous. But for Lin Xian, it was only enough for him to maintain his normal cultivation. Both the 9-yang divine body and the great dragon sword soul required too much. If he could not obtain so many resources, his cultivation speed would be greatly reduced. But fortunately, with the existence of the sacred Gulf Tower and some cultivation resources from the True Path sect, Lin Xian could handle it for now. After collecting all the resources, Lin Xian left. There was a huge difference between the 2,000th place and the 2000th place. Every 1000th place was a gradient. Lin Xian's 2000th place was the beginning of a gradient, so he received an additional reward. He could use his identity token to exchange for the reward at the Sacred Origin Tower. Sure enough, he exchanged for a generous reward. Ancient movement technique, Skywalk Step. After cultivating it to greater mastery, one's speed would be extremely fast. Lin Xian was surprised. This was good stuff. After deactivating the Skywalk Step, Lin Xian arrived at the main hall. At this moment, countless people in the main hall had gone crazy and were discussing everywhere. They all felt that the Mad God was definitely a great sage, and an extremely terrifying one at that. So, when Lin Xian's young face appeared, they all ignored him. It was impossible for him to be a young man. Lin Xian shrugged. Well, let these people guess. It would save him some trouble. He used Saint crystals to exchange for a cultivation room and began to recover while cultivating the Skywalk Step. At the same time, in another cultivation room, the 6 Paths itinerant cultivator opened his eyes and stood up. He had finished recovering and was about to go out to exchange for a reward. He was ranked 2000th, so he could exchange for a special reward. He wondered what it would be. He was looking forward to it. After coming out, he frowned slightly because he realized that the people in the main hall were very crazy and were shouting something. Was it because of the change in his ranking? The 6 Paths itinerant cultivator was pleased, but when he listened, he realized that they were not shouting for him, but for the Mad God. Who was the Mad God? The 6 Paths itinerant cultivator frowned. He felt that the Mad God could not be compared to him at all. A bunch of ignorant people. He sneered and went to the Holy Gulf Tower to exchange for a reward. But when he arrived, he found that the reward had already been claimed. How is that possible? The 6 Paths itinerant cultivator exclaimed. I didn't claim the reward. Did someone pretend to be me and claim the reward? You must look into it. The person in charge of exchanging for the reward was also a divine general. He frowned slightly and waved his hand. The glory leaderboard appeared. The divine general said, "You are not qualified to exchange for a reward, so there is no need for us to investigate." Not qualified? How is that possible? I am ranked 2000th, logically speaking. I am qualified to receive a special reward. Divine, General Sheng Yuan shook his head. No, you are ranked 2000th. All right, leave now. Keep working hard, and you will reach 2000th one day. When the time comes, you will be rewarded. With that, the divine general closed the door. How is that possible? I am ranked 2000th? The 6 Paths itinerant cultivator was stunned. He remembered that he was ranked 2000th before he went into seclusion. There was no mistake. Could it be that the divine general lied to him? He wanted to enter, but he did not dare to. Divine General Sheng Yuan's strength was too terrifying. If he offended the divine general, he would offend the Holy Gulf Tower. I want to see who it was that made a mistake on my name list. The 6 Paths itinerant cultivator turned around and rushed to the main hall below. There was a complete list there. At that moment, countless people were still exclaiming and discussing. They could not believe what had just happened. Chapter 4803. Get out of my way. 6 Paths roared as soon as he entered the hall. His murderous aura surged. The people around him felt their scalps go numb. They automatically opened up a path for him. At the same time, they were surprised that 6 Paths had arrived. They knew why he was angry. He was originally in the 2000th place, but now he was pushed down by someone else. How could he not be angry? The 6 Paths scattered cultivator came to the front and looked at the glory board. He looked around and soon he saw the 2000th place. Suddenly, his pupils constricted. He realized that the 2000th place wasn't his name. It was someone called Mad God, and he was pushed down by that person. He was now in the 2001st place. Damn it, what's going on? He grabbed someone beside him and said, "Who can tell me what's going on?" That person's scalp went numb. He said in horror, "Not long after you left, this mad god became the 2000th place. Damn it, who is he? When did he appear?" That person said in horror, "This mad god, he appeared about a year ago. He went from the last place to the 3000th place. Now, a year later, he went from the 3000th place to the 2000th place." Six Path's pupils constricted when he heard the shocking change. Who is this person? He was too shocked. He had never heard of such a speed of improvement. No one knew. Some people said that he was a disciple of another monarch race. There were also some who said that he was a mysterious great sage, but no one knew who he was. That person's scalp went numb. He said, "Can you let me go? You can't fight here." Six Paths snorted and threw him to the side. Then he said, "I don't care who this mad god is. I don't care who he is. Whoever can find him, tell me where he is. I'll reward you handsomely." After that, Six Paths gritted his teeth and left. Lin Xian didn't know about this. He was still practicing the Heaven Walk steps. This was an extremely fast movement technique that had been passed down since ancient times. With every step, there would be extremely terrifying Dao patterns flickering. Later, Lin Xian started to cultivate in the cultivation room. However, he felt that the room was too small to unleash such power. He entered the mysterious world within his body and began to cultivate. The pressure inside the mysterious world was different from the outside world. It was about 100 times greater than the pressure outside. Therefore, Lin Xian had a hard time moving around inside. But under such circumstances, the effects of cultivation were surprisingly good. Now that Lin Xian's cultivation had improved again, he could now walk 1,000 meters. This time, he finally made a discovery. Other than the withered old trees, there were also some withered plants. There were even some plants that bore fruits, but they had already withered and could not be eaten at all. What kind of world was this? Lin Xian was shocked. It was clear that this world was extremely mystical. Back then, when it wasn't damaged, it was definitely extremely terrifying. This place was definitely filled with spirit fruits, but for some reason, this world had withered. However, these spirit fruits were not completely dead. Lin Xian wondered if they could recover if they were given enough power. He was not sure, but he felt that he could give it a try. He was someone who had been abandoned by the immortals. Every time he broke through in the outside world, he would be punished by the heavens. Therefore, this mysterious world would become more and more important to him in the future. Thinking of this, Lin Xian took out the resources he had obtained in the Sacred Abyss Tower and placed them in this mysterious world. He buried a large amount of dragon marrow and divine crystals in the ground to provide power to the withered spirit fruit. He stood there and waited quietly, wanting to see if there were any changes. Finally, there were changes. Lin Xian saw that about half of the withered spirit fruit had begun to recover. It was even glowing. This shocked him. It was indeed effective. This was not a real death, but a fake death. It had been sucked dry, but if he provided it with power, it was very likely to recover. However, this shocked him. What kind of fruit was this? It required too much power. After giving so many resources to it, it had only recovered a little. Lin Xian felt that even if he gave it all, it would not be enough. Therefore, they were trying to find more precious resources and spirit veins in the future. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. He was looking forward to that day. How terrifying would this world be after it recovered? After retreating from the mysterious world, Lin Xian left the cultivation room. When he arrived at the hall, he found many people in the hall discussing. Most of them were about Mad God and the unrestrained Six Paths. After listening for a while, Lin Xian understood. It turned out that something had happened before. He had pushed the unrestrained Six Paths down. The unrestrained Six Paths did not get the reward, which caused the unrestrained Six Paths to hate him. The unrestrained Six Paths was now looking for him all over the world. The unrestrained Six Paths and the Six Paths Gate. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He better not meet them. Otherwise, he could guarantee that the unrestrained Six Paths Gate would suffer. The Six Paths Gate had chased after him before. Back then, he was unable to fight against a great sage. The other party had sent a great sage to the Xiantian Pavilion. Fortunately, the pavilion master of the Xiantian Pavilion had blocked it for him. Otherwise, he would have been in danger. Lin Xian was also very cautious about the Six Paths Gate. After all, it was the sect left behind by the great sage Kuan. It had the Six Paths body. Lin Xian had the heavenly secret god eyes, which could evolve into the Six Paths eye. He was afraid that there would be a battle in the future. Shaking his head, Lin Xian ignored them and returned to the Dao sect. When he returned to the god's residence, the Crimson Dragon and the others were waiting. Nalan Liang walked over and said, "Brother Lin, we have inquired about the missions. We have chosen 2 missions. We don't know what to choose. You decide." Lin Xian looked at them and was greatly shocked. These 2 missions were not on the buried Emperor's star. They were on other worlds. However, he soon understood. At this stage, the things controlled by these family orthodoxies were not just limited to 1 or 2 worlds. Moreover, even if they were doing missions, they would be searching for them across the universe. Of the 2 missions, one was to find a precious spirit vein and bring it back. The other was to go to the medicine star and find 3 stalks of 10,000-year-old herbs. The toad said, "We originally wanted to go to the medicine star. The extra spirit herbs can be ours." However, Nalan Liang received news. This time, not only us but also many people from the Dao sect will be going to the medicine star. In addition, the Heaven sect, Earth sect, and other remote antiquity families will also be going. At that time, there will probably be a great battle. Why? Lin Xian was shocked. Logically speaking, such a mission should not have caused such a commotion. Nalan Liang said, "It is said that a medicine king will appear on the medicine star." Medicine king, the king of medicine. It is extremely rare. That was why so many experts and geniuses were alarmed this time. Chapter 4804. Lin Xian thought about it and said, "How about this? You guys go and do the first spirit vein mission. I'll go to the medicine star alone and see if I can get anything." The Crimson Dragon nodded. They naturally recognized Lin Xian's strength. If he went alone, it would be convenient for him to retreat. They weren't worried. Just like that, the 2 sides agreed. The Crimson Dragon and the others would go and do the first mission, while Lin Xian would go to the medicine star. The medicine star was another star world. Thus, to go there, one had to use a world-grade teleportation formation. Fortunately, the Dao sect had such a teleportation formation. Moreover, some of the missions were carried out in other spheres. There were quite a few of such teleportation formations. Following the flickering of the formation's light, Lin Xian felt the world spinning. He saw spatial channels forming on both sides, and he was quickly teleporting. When he came back to his senses, he discovered that he was surrounded by a boundless starry sky. There was a star world in front of the universe. Lin Xian took a deep breath and flew towards the medicine star below. He landed in a forest. Upon arriving at the medicine star, Lin Xian felt the blood and qi in his body boil. This world was truly too strange. Spirit herbs grew everywhere. The entire world was filled with spirit Dao aura. Walking in the forest, Lin Xian discovered that other than him, there were many people who had descended from the sky. Thinking about it, they should have been teleported over from other worlds. These people were vigilant against each other. They were separated by a long distance as they set off. However, when they were about to leave the forest, they discovered that there was an endless amount of ice in front of them. It formed a frost cage that firmly trapped them. Outside the frost cage stood a few figures. The cold chi on their bodies was incomparably terrifying. They said coldly, "This area is under the control of the blue race. If you want to leave, you have to hand over 500 drops of dragon marrow." Hearing this, the expressions of the descenders in the forest became unsightly. "Damn it, the blue race is too arrogant." Some people also said, "This is the medicine star, not the buried emperor's star. What right do you have to take it?" At the front, an expert from the blue race sneered. "What? You're not convinced? Let me tell you something. The blue race has always had a cooperative relationship with the medicine star. This time, there was nothing wrong with helping them collect some dragon marrow. Also, don't even think about leaving in another direction. The entire exit is divided between the four of us. Our blue clan is only one of them. If you go anywhere else, you will also be followed by the dragon search." Damn it, those who had descended were gnashing their teeth. Some of them had extraordinary statuses and were extremely powerful, but she's alone. If the situation was slightly better, it would be a small team, but generally it would not exceed 10 people. At the front, the blue clan formed a powerful Saint battle team. The difference in numbers between the two sides was simply too great. Lin Xian also frowned. He was no stranger to the blue clan. He had just killed Lan Zilu. These people shouldn't be able to recognize him. Thinking of this, their auras changed slightly. After all, he had just arrived and did not want to fight with these people. It was better to find out more about the King of Medicine first. The others couldn't do anything about it. Although 500 dragon marrow wasn't a lot, the other party's tough attitude made them furious. But at this moment, they had no choice but to lower their heads. Each of them was prepared to hand over 500 dragon marrow and enter. After all, once they could enter completely, they could find a lot of spiritual herbs. At that time, the loss of 500 dragon marrow would be quickly recovered. Lin Xian naturally hid in the team. He also planned to enter first. If there was a chance in the future, he would not let the other party go. Finally, they left the ice prison. These people flew in all directions. Lin Xian also soared into the sky and came to a mountain peak in the distance. He looked in all directions. At the same time, he summoned Whitey. "Little guy, it's up to you." Whitey's eyes lit up. "Yeah, this is really a good place." He was so happy that he wanted to stay here forever. "Let's go. Let's do it." With little White's treasure hunting ability and Lin Xian's extreme speed, he executed the skywalk steps and was like a deity traveling. His speed was so fast that no one could see him clearly. They only felt a flash of lightning. Everyone was shocked. The entire medicine star was filled with spiritual herbs. However, Lin Xian and Whitey didn't care about the ordinary ones. The ones they were looking for were incomparably precious. Such things were very rare. After searching for a few days, they only found 2. Whitey was furious. He directly grabbed a bunch of spiritual herbs and placed them in the treasure basin. Below, the hand of fortune began to condense and refine them. Soon, thousands of spiritual herbs melted quickly and formed a drop of spiritual liquid. This drop of spiritual liquid was definitely much more effective than those spiritual herbs. However, it was still not enough. After all, spiritual herbs that could be seen everywhere didn't have much value. As for places with precious spiritual herbs, they were all occupied by powerful clans and families. There were many clans and sects on the Medicine Star. Among them, there were 2 biggest ones. One was the Medicine Sect, and the other was the Alchemy Kingdom. Sure enough, there were experts who descended and started a battle with the clans and sects of the Medicine Star. The battle was earth-shattering. Lin Xian didn't take action. Instead, he relied on the treasure basin and Whitey's power to secretly find a few spiritual herbs. Gradually, they collected more and more spiritual herbs. In a valley, an array formation flickered. Lin Xian sat there. There was an extremely terrifying light on his body. In the next moment, he entered a mysterious world. He placed some of the spiritual herbs he had obtained into the mysterious world. Lin Xian wanted to see if these spiritual herbs could grow in the soil here. He found that they couldn't. This was because a 5,000-year-old spiritual herb instantly withered and turned into dust as soon as it was planted. Was its power absorbed? Was there a problem with this land? Lin Xian's eyes emitted an extremely terrifying aura. However, this land was really terrifying. There was a mysterious power that directly blocked his detection. It even threatened him. Lin Xian retracted his gaze with a look of surprise. It was so strange. However, he found that the land where the spiritual herbs were planted had some changes. Even the withered spiritual herbs in the surroundings had recovered a little. From the looks of it, this piece of land was lacking too much power. If he wanted to completely recover, he was afraid that he would have to provide an endless supply of power. Thinking of this, he walked out of the mysterious world. At the same time, Whitey also returned. This time, it had collected quite a lot. The little guy was very happy. In front of Lin Xian, it kept cheering. At that moment, Lin Xian furrowed his brows as he discovered a shocking scene. In the treasure basin, of the dozens of spiritual herbs that were originally collected, one of them jumped up, turned into a stream of light, and ran away. Lin Xian was stunned. This guy could run? Had it become a demon? Whitey also angrily waved its little claws. Stop, don't run. However, that spiritual herb didn't listen to it and disappeared without a trace. Chapter 4805. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he instantly appeared in the distance with the celestial steps. The 5 elemental laws shot out a 5 elemental mountain and pressed down. It formed a cage, and the spirit herb was knocked back. It returned and drilled into the ground. Lin Xian's eyes shone. With a wave of his hand, a sword chi flew down and directly cut off the other party's path. The spirit fruit instantly escaped and flew to the other side. In the next moment, he disappeared. In front of him, on the forest ground, countless spirit herbs were everywhere. There were all kinds of colors, but there was no longer the black spirit herb from before. Little White flew over with a face full of confusion. Why was it gone? Its little claws kept scratching its head as it looked at Lin Xian. The golden light in Lin Xian's eyes shone again, piercing through everything. He was also stunned, even with his heavenly secret divine eyes. He couldn't see which one was the one he was looking for. This made him puzzled. Did it run away? Forget it. I'll just burn it. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the 9 suns' divine fire appeared, covering the entire world. This was a divine fire. It was as if the sun had descended. The surrounding spirit herbs instantly withered, and one of them directly jumped up. It kept shaking at Lin Xian, as if to say, "Why are you so crazy? You're too ruthless." Then it fled into the distance again. This time, how could Lin Xian let it escape? He used the yin-yang image, but it didn't work. Lin Xian had no choice but to take out the heaven-devouring jar, and a black vortex appeared. Finally, the black spirit fruit was frightened. It swallowed the tablet into the heaven-devouring jar. Lin Xian grabbed it and formed a seal with his dragon-shaped sword chi, sealing it within. Mine, mine. Xiaobai jumped over and hugged the spirit fruit, not letting go. He had never seen such a fun thing before. Don't worry, no one will snatch it from you. Lin Xian smiled. They prepared to return. At this moment, there were many figures in the surroundings. Someone said, "Young master, don't worry. The transformation fruit is nearby." Someone was coming. Lin Xian brought Little White and prepared to leave. However, a mirror fell from the sky. At the same time, someone in the distance snorted coldly. "Who are you? Stay here." A terrifying aura appeared in the surroundings. There was even ice that sealed the world. The speed of these people was very fast. They arrived nearby in an instant. When they saw Lin Xian, they immediately frowned. "Kid, did you find any other elixirs here before?" Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He noticed that the person in front of him was covered in ice. He was obviously from the blue race. What was the fruit of transformation? "Did you hear us?" The person on the other side was surprised. The leader of the group snorted coldly. "Don't you need to know what the fruit is? I only asked you if you saw it." Lin Xian smiled. "You didn't even tell me what it was like, so how would I know if I saw it or not?" The man frowned. He felt as if he had dug a hole and jumped into it. His expression was cold and gloomy. Someone walked out from the side. That woman wanted to explain, but in the next moment, she caught sight of the black spirit fruit in Xiao Bai's hands. Her eyes turned red instantly. The fruit was in his hands. Countless gazes were fixed on little white in an instant. The space around Xiao Bai started to shatter. Xiao Bai jumped in shock and hurried to Lin Xian's side. "Kid, hand over the fruit." The man in blue robes shouted coldly. The woman's eyes shone brightly. She said, "That little monkey is not bad. I want it too." A bunch of bad people. Xiao Bai made a funny face at these people. Lin Xian was shocked. So the black spirit fruit was the fruit of transformation. However, he had never heard of it. What was the use of the fruit of transformation? Lin Xian asked. Seeing how nervous these people were, it seemed to be very useful. The man in blue robes snorted. "Can't you do anything about it?" The woman in red laughed. "I advise you to hand it over obediently. Do you know who we are? I am the dragon lady of the fire dragon race, and he is the young master of the blue race. Be it the fire dragon race or the blue race, they are not people you can offend. So just hand it over obediently." The man from the blue race snorted coldly. "Kneel down and hand it over. Otherwise, you will die without a burial ground." Lin Xian laughed. "Blue race? Are you courting death? Is the fire dragon race very powerful? If you want it, let's see if you have the ability. You are courting death. Men, kill him for me." The man in blue robes waved his hand. Behind him, 3 figures rushed over. They were 3 late-stage Saint Kings. They had already checked. Lin Xian was only a mid-stage Saint King. They could kill such an existence in an instant. But the result was completely different. Lin Xian looked over, and the souls of the 3 late-stage Saint Kings were destroyed. They fell from the sky. Then Lin Xian used the hand of creation to draw the 3 of them into 3 drops of blood essence. This method stunned the people on the other side. So strong. The dragon lady said that he should be an expert who can fight above his level. The man in blue robes snorted. "Who are you? Tell me your identity. Trash like you don't have the right to know. You dare to say that I am trash?" The man in blue robes was angry. "Attack immediately." Behind him, 8 people walked out. Half of them were Saint Kings at the peak of the Saint Plain. They attacked forcefully, freezing the world. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He condensed a divine eye in the sky like the eye of a god, looking down on the world. At the same time, he used the celestial walk. His speed was extremely fast. Even in the sky full of snow, he was like lightning. Rock seal. Every attack was like a rock spreading its wings, shattering a Saint King. In the blink of an eye, 6 of the 8 figures were beaten into a bloody mist. The other 2 also fled in fear. He was too strong. They were no match for him at all. The man in blue robes had an ugly expression. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so strong. He gritted his teeth and snorted. "Good boy, just you wait." After saying that, he turned around and wanted to leave. "You want to leave now?" Lin Xian sneered. The Taiji diagram flew out. Yin and Yang aura descended, forming a yin-yang world that enveloped everyone. You dare to stop me? The man in blue robes was angry. Don't you know my identity? Also, let me tell you, my sixth uncle is nearby. He is a great saint and is on the Holy Gulf Glory Board. Can you fight against him? Kneel down obediently and accept your death. Otherwise, when my sixth uncle comes, you will definitely die. Oh, someone on the Holy Gulf Glory Board? Is he very powerful? Lin Xian sneered. Fire Dragon Girl was also stunned. Then she said, Didn't you come from the buried Emperor's Star? Don't you know how terrifying the Holy Gulf Glory Board is? Lin Xian said, So what if I know? What is your sixth uncle's ranking? The man in blue said proudly, My sixth uncle is ranked 10,000. And Lin Xian snorted coldly with his hands behind his back. Boy, are you an idiot? The man in blue robes roared, crazily when he heard that. Fire Dragon Girl sneered. It seems that you really don't know anything. Although he was ranked 10,000, that was the Holy Gulf Glory Board. This board was enough to suppress everything. So what? Lin Xian sneered. He must be trash to be ranked so low. Chapter 48:06. The man in blue went crazy. Fire Dragon Lady could not believe it either. How could someone say that the people on the Shenyuan honor list were trash? This guy was definitely dead. Dragon Lady Fairy, help me hold this guy back. I'll definitely get my sixth uncle to come. As the man in blue spoke, he took out a matrix and began to transmit his voice inside. Sixth uncle, come quickly. There's a guy who doesn't know what's good for him. He actually called you trash. You must kill him. Fire Dragon Lady also walked over. Her eyes shone with a cold light. She was also at the peak of the Saint King realm. She was also a genius who could fight against a supreme saint. She would definitely be able to hold the other party back. However, Lin Xian had no intention of doing anything. Fire Dragon Lady was the only one who didn't want to run away. When the blue-clothed man saw this, he sneered even more ferociously. When his sixth uncle came, the other party would be dead. He really wasn't lying. His sixth uncle was nearby, and he would be here soon. A middle-aged man descended. The ice power on him froze the entire world. Even the spiritual herbs below were frozen. The world seemed to have turned into a world of ice and snow. Who dares to challenge the Blue Clan? Who is so reckless as to question me? There was a cold snort. Even the flames on Fire Dragon Lady's body became very faint, although she was a genius who could fight against a supreme saint. Compared to the people on the honor list, she was much weaker. She was no match for them at all. Sixth uncle, it's him. This guy who doesn't know what's good for him. Quickly suppress him. When the blue-clothed man saw this, he cried out in joy. He pointed ahead. The Blue Clan's sixth uncle frowned and looked ahead. The next moment, he was surprised. The other party was only a mid-stage Saint King. Such a young man dared to question the Shenyuan honor list? You're his sixth uncle, right? Someone on the Shenyuan honor list? Lin Xian looked at him and said lightly, That's right. The middle-aged man said proudly. Lin Xian shook his head. You're indeed trash. You're even weaker than I thought. What did you say? Lan Mingtian's eyes exploded with terrifying ice. Challenge the honor list. Kill. As an expert on the Shenyuan honor list, he was so proud that he didn't even care about a supreme saint of the same level, let alone a young man. He stretched out a finger. Lin Xian's sixth uncle. The people from the blue race sneered. The other party was dead for sure. Lin Xian also snorted coldly and threw out a punch. The golden fist was like a golden crow, dancing between heaven and earth. The terrifying flames instantly melted the ice in the sky, turning the world of ice and snow into a world of the sun. Lan Mingtian's finger was broken, and he retreated. His face was full of shock. Fire Dragon Lady and the blue-clothed man were stunned as well. They widened their eyes in disbelief. What did they see? Lan Mingtian was injured. This was a powerhouse on the honor roll. How could he be injured? Not even great sages of the same level could defeat him. There was a hint of fear in Lan Mingtian's eyes. The other party was able to injure him so easily. He was definitely not a nobody. I have a title. Mad God. Mad God. What an arrogant name. The Blue Clan was surprised. Even Fire Dragon frowned. This guy dared to call himself a god? To them, this name was just arrogance. But when Lan Mingtian heard it, it was like being struck by lightning. His body trembled, and shock appeared in his eyes. You're mad, God. That's impossible. He roared in horror, as if he had heard the most unbelievable thing. Sixth uncle, what's going on? Is he very powerful? The man in blue asked. He's more than powerful. Lan Mingtian was shocked. Impossible. How can Mad God be so young? Don't try to lie to me. He roared and threw out his strongest attack. Apocalyptic ice dagger axe. Endless frost condensed into an icy dagger axe. It slashed down as if it could destroy a world. At this moment, the entire medicine planet shook violently. Countless people were terrified. What happened? Lin Xian snorted. Rock seal, rock wing spread. Endless divine fire merged with the rock phantom. It was as if a divine beast had been resurrected and swept across the world. The apocalyptic ice dagger axe was shattered in an instant. Lan Mingtian retreated and vomited blood. It's true. You're really Mad God. He shouted in horror. Only Mad God could defeat him so easily. Fire Dragon Girl gasped in disbelief. The people of the Blue Clan were even more frightened. Even their great sage was defeated? The man in blue asked, Sixth uncle, who is this kid? He was also alarmed. Even his sixth uncle wasn't a match for him. The other party was too terrifying. Could it be that he was an old monster? Do you believe it now? Lin Xian said indifferently. After Lan Mingtian heard this, he stood up and bowed respectfully to Mad God. The people of the Blue Clan went crazy. What did they see? Their great sage was actually bowing respectfully, and the other party was just a young man. Sixth uncle, you didn't lose. You were just careless. You killed him. You can still kill him. Lan Mingtian frowned. He raised his hand and slapped the man in blue to the ground. He shouted coldly, Stupid thing. How dare you provoke Mad God? Do you want to die? How was that possible? The man in blue was stunned. The other people of the Blue Clan were also so frightened that they knelt on the ground. No, sixth uncle, why didn't you help me? The man in blue roared crazily. Fire Dragon Girl also frowned. She said, Senior, who is this guy? Lan Mingtian sighed. Dragon Girl, you really made a wrong decision. Mad God is ranked 2000 on the Holy Gulf Glory list. I'm ashamed of my inferiority. How would I dare to fight with him? What? Fire Ling was stunned. The people of the Blue Clan were even more shocked. The man in blue trembled in fear and knelt on the ground. He finally knew why his sixth uncle didn't help him, because the other party was too powerful. His sixth uncle was ranked 10,000 on the glory list so he could show off, and the other party was ranked 2,000 on the glory list, far above his sixth uncle. He couldn't provoke such a person. Mad God, please spare my life. I didn't recognize you. Please spare my life. The man in blue quickly knelt and begged for mercy. The people of the Blue Clan kept kowtowing. Even Fire Dragon Girl was stunned. In the next moment, she also said respectfully, I didn't know you, sir. Please have mercy. Lan Mingtian also said, Mad God, my nephew is too useless. He has offended you. The Blue Clan is willing to pay any price. Please have mercy. Any price? Lin Xian smiled. Are you sure? Even if it's your life? Lan Mingtian's pupils shrank. He took a deep breath, and a cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. He said, I know. After saying that, he slapped the man in blue, turning him into a bloody mist and destroying his soul. In addition, the 3 people of the Blue Clan who were kneeling were also killed by him. Chapter 4807. Looking at this scene, Fire Dragon Lady sucked in a breath of cold air. Her face was full of shock. She really didn't think that Lan Mingtian would actually kill someone directly, and it was against someone from his own clan. She quickly retreated and put up a defense. Lan Mingtian didn't attack again. Instead, he said in a low voice, My nephew and clan have offended you. Mad God, you deserve to die. I will personally send them to hell. As for this dragon lady, she is from the Fire Dragon clan. I have no right to attack her. How you punish her is up to you. Goodbye. With that, he turned and wanted to leave. To be honest, he didn't want to attack, but the other party was too strong. If he didn't give him a satisfactory explanation today, he was afraid that the other party wouldn't let him go. Therefore, he could only kill these people. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He had to admit that this person was really ruthless. He could even kill his own people and nephew. If such a person returned, he would definitely be a disaster. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly. Stop, did I say you could leave? Lan Mingtian stopped and turned his head. His face was cold. Mad God, what else do you want? He was also angry. He had already killed his own people and apologized. What else did the other party want? What else? Lin Xian snorted coldly. There was an extremely terrifying light in his eyes. He said, What did you say when you faced me before? Those who challenge the glory, kill. Lan Mingtian's pupils shrank. These words were said to the others. No one could challenge the Holy Gulf glory list. Now he was also on the glory list. Did the other party want to kill him? He snorted. Mad God, don't be too arrogant. You are strong, but you are too young and inexperienced. If we really fight, you can't do anything to me. If I want to leave, you can't stop me. Is that so? It seems that you still don't understand the glory list. Let me tell you the difference between us. Lin Xian walked forward. At the same time, a sword appeared in his hand. It was the unparalleled sword. Damn it. Lan Mingtian was angry and quickly fled into the distance. Mad God, I will remember you. No matter how strong you are, you can't fight against the entire Blue Clan. When I return, I will let you know the strength of the Blue Clan. He naturally didn't dare to fight with Lin Xian, but if he wanted to escape, no one could stop him. Lin Xian slowly raised the sword in his hand as he spoke in a cold voice. Those who challenge glory kill. Along with the voice, the sword chi also descended, turning into an azure dragon, splitting the heavens and splitting the earth. The sky was cleaved in two, and the earth split open. Lan Mingtian fled into the distance. However, he could still sense how terrifying this sword was. He went berserk and unleashed countless ice shields to block it. However, after that sword strike, he despaired. His body was split into 2 halves. Not only that, his broken body was unable to heal. This sword contained an extremely sharp aura. It was too terrifying, as though it was undying and indestructible, making it difficult for him to recover. Damn it, his soul flew out, fleeing into the distance. This time, he really did suffer serious injuries. However, it also let him know how terrifying the other party was. The 2000th place on the glory roll was too terrifying. He was no match for him. However, he still underestimated Lin Xian. Even though he used the broken sacred blood in his body to perform a secret technique and ignite his bloodline, allowing his soul to move at an extremely fast speed. However, he still couldn't escape Lin Xian's gaze. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, and his heavenly secret god eyes released the power of reincarnation, the fire of reincarnation. The terrifying eye technique flames instantly enveloped the other party's soul. Lan Mingtian's soul burned in the flames, roaring crazily. "No, Lord Mad God, please spare me. I was wrong." He was finally terrified. Lin Xian looked at this scene expressionlessly and said indifferently, "Since you were wrong, go to hell and repent." In the end, Lan Mingtian's body was burned to ashes. Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed the other party's storage ring. At the same time, the storage rings of the blue-clothed man and the others were all collected by him. In the next moment, Lin Xian looked at Fire Dragon Lady. Fire Dragon Lady was so scared that her body trembled, and she knelt on the ground. Even someone as powerful as Lan Mingtian had fallen. If the other party wanted to kill her, it would be a piece of cake. "Please spare my life. I'm willing to pay any price." "Any price?" Lin Xian smiled. "Raise your head." Fire Dragon Lady raised her head, and a touch of red appeared on her face. She seemed to have thought of something. However, she gritted her teeth and nodded. Anything. Even if she had to serve the other party, she had to admit that such an expert was worthy of her lowering her head. Lin Xian said in her ear, "All right, give me a world. I'll spare your life." "What?" Fire Dragon Lady was stunned. She didn't expect the other party's request to be different from what she had thought. He wanted a world. She sucked in a cold breath. "Why can't you do it?" A trace of killing intent appeared on Lin Xian's body. Fire Dragon Lady hurriedly said that she could do it. Although giving a world to someone else made her heart bleed, she had to do it in order to save her life. "However," she said, "Young master, a world belongs to our family. I don't have the strength to control it, so the world is not in my hands. Come back to the family with me. I'll give it to you with both hands." "There's no need. A month later, wait for me outside the Holy Gulf Tower. I hope to see the heart of the world then. Also, don't think about escaping, and don't think about using your family's power to fight against me. I'll only give you one chance. If you dare to betray me, I'll let you know what despair is." "Don't worry, I won't." Fire Dragon Lady was terrified. The other party was too terrifying. At such a young age, with such a cultivation, he was ranked 2000 on the glory board. The other party's strength and cultivation would increase in the future, and his ranking would be even higher. She knew that this was an existence comparable to a prince. How could she dare to provoke him? Therefore, she could only agree quickly. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and said coldly, "Get up. Remember to respect me in the future." "Yes." Fire Dragon Lady became extremely obedient at this moment. "Yeah, it tastes terrible." At this moment, Little White spat out. It turned out that during the fight just now, Little White had already unlocked the seal and began to eat the fruit. Lin Xian was stunned when he saw this. Even Fire Dragon Lady's expression changed. She ate it just like that. Seeing the other party's surprised expression, Lin Xian asked, "Tell me, what's the use of the fruit?" Fire Dragon Lady said respectfully, this kind of spirit fruit was very rare. It only appeared once in tens of thousands of years. Once it appeared and was obtained by someone, it would be divided into many portions and refined into pills to be consumed. It was said that as long as one ate the fruit, they would have the ability to transform. Some people could turn from humans into demons, and some beasts could turn into humans. It didn't even have the aura of a demon. It could be said that it was very strange. However, he had never heard of swallowing the whole fruit. Lin Xian finally understood. The transformation fruit, as its name implied, allowed one to transform into different forms. He looked at Little White and asked, "How is it?" He was also a little nervous. After all, according to Fire Dragon Lady, no one would eat so much. Would there be any mutation? Chapter 4808. Little White was confused. He said, "I feel like I've grown wings and am about to fly." In the next moment, he waved his hands and turned them into wings. He flew up and turned into a butterfly. The white butterflies kept fluttering in the air. "Oh, I can't take it anymore. I want to drink water." Little White flew into the distance. There was a lake there, and he turned from a butterfly into a giant. He was like a giant mountain. He lowered his head and drank all the water in the lake in one gulp. Then he turned into a bee, ant, leopard, all kinds of forms. In the end, the little guy fell asleep in a daze and returned to his monkey form. "Is there a problem?" Lin Xian frowned. Fire Dragon Girl said carefully, "There shouldn't be. Maybe it's because the medicinal effect is too strong. It'll be fine after it's digested. All right, go and prepare the heart of the world. Don't miss it in a month." After Lin Xian finished speaking, he waved his sleeve and left with Little White. Outside the forest, one of the elders in the area frowned as he realized that a great sage might have perished. How is that possible? The people beside him were shocked. Who dares to attack the blue race? Go and investigate. They all moved, because not only did a supreme sage die, but a young master also died. This was a big deal. Lin Xian didn't know that the blue race had already begun to search. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care. At this moment, he was searching in another forest. Since he was here, he was prepared to complete the mission. He would give 3 stalks of 10,000-year-old herbs to the Taoist sect and let the supreme sages of the Taoist sect refine them into pills. When the pills were refined, he would be given a 3rd. This was a very good deal. At the same time, he also looked for some spirit veins and kept them in the mysterious world in his body to see what effects they had. Boom, boom. A spirit vein soared into the sky like a dragon. Countless people were shocked. A 10,000-year-old herb even flew out. It attracted many people's attention. Some people were shocked. Who is this? His methods are too terrifying. Isn't he afraid that the people of Medicine Star will fight back? Most of the people who came to Medicine Star were looking for spirit herbs. However, they didn't dare to do such a thing directly. They were afraid that they would gang up on them. Countless gazes looked over. In the next moment, they saw a figure in the distance. He was walking through the air and charging towards the 10,000-year-old medicine. Humph! Many people around snorted coldly and attacked one after another. A 10,000-year-old medicine was also a necessary cultivation item for them. How could he let him go? Someone reached out a large palm. Someone brought out a precious bottle. Someone condensed a large cauldron, slaughtering their way over. However, they all missed. A figure was even faster than them, directly arriving in front of the 10,000-year-old medicine. His 5 fingers formed a seal, directly enveloping it. Who was it? This speed was too fast. Countless people were shocked. Were they from the Light Clan? They took a closer look and realized that it was the guy who had collected the spirit vein. How arrogant! You won't even let the old medicine go? These people were enraged. Up above, Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to these people. He turned around and left. Suddenly, a cold light streaked across the sky and turned into a heavenly saber that descended from the sky, cutting off Lin Xian's path. Lin Xian came to a stop. He narrowed his eyes and looked ahead. In the next moment, someone walked out and said coldly, "Kid, you've gone too far. Hand over that 10,000-year-old spirit herb." This man was wearing battle armor and holding a battle saber. He had short hair and a biting cold aura. It was as if he wanted to tear the world apart. There was an order in his words, and he didn't take Lin Xian seriously at all. He was from the Heavenly Saber sect. Lin Xian recognized him in an instant. The other party's saber technique was very similar to the one from the Heavenly Saber sect, except that he was more powerful. "Get out of here before I get angry, or you'll die a terrible death," the surrounding people exclaimed. "Who is this person? How dare he be so arrogant in front of Saber Saint Tianfeng?" The man in front also had the same expression as Chen Xiao. "If you don't know what's good for you, then there's no need for you to exist." An extremely terrifying killing intent bloomed from his body. However, at this moment, another cold snort was heard. "He's right. You don't have the right to take the 10,000-year-old spirit herb because it's mine." Someone stepped in the air. It was very terrifying. Countless people turned to look and exclaimed, "It's him, Mo Duxing. This is a genius on the Taoist Sect Stars ranking. He's an expert who can fight beyond his level." Countless people were terrified. Saber Saint Tianfeng also frowned. "Mo Duxing, do you dare to fight with me? So what if I fight with you?" Mo Duxing snorted coldly. Then he looked around and said coldly, "The rest of you get out of here." The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. Those who could enter the stars ranking were extremely powerful figures in the three orthodoxies. "Oh, you want me to get out? Are you sure?" At this moment, a cold sneer was heard. Lin Xian asked with a smile. The others were shocked. "Does this guy want to fight with Mo Duxing?" Mo Duxing was also angry. "Who dares to go against my orders?" He turned to look. In the next moment, his scalp went numb. "It's you?" He looked as if he had seen a ghost. He was so scared that he almost fell from the sky. Lin Xian sneered. "That's right, it's me. What did you just say? Say it again?" "I don't dare. I didn't know you were here. Please spare my life. I'll leave now." After that, he bowed deeply and turned to leave. "He looks like he's afraid of something." The surrounding people were all stunned. They looked at Lin Xian with faces full of shock. Who is this guy? How can he make Mo Duxing so scared? Could it be that he's an even more powerful expert from the Tao sect? That can't be. He's a stranger. I don't know him. The surrounding people were discussing. Saber Saint Tianfeng was also stunned. Then he sneered. Mo Duxing is a genius on the stars ranking. He's just a coward. Kid, hand over the 10,000 years elixir quickly. Otherwise you'll end up badly. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. Even Mo Duxing doesn't dare to attack me. You dare to attack me? Saber Saint Tianfeng laughed. Do you really think he's afraid of you? He's afraid of me. It's just that he's embarrassed to say it out loud. What an ignorant ant. Lin Xian sneered. Then he slapped his palm forward. You dare to attack me? Sky shaking ate Saber. Saber Saint Tianfeng was enraged. He attacked crazily. The saber in his hand split into 8 and slashed down. It's Saber Saint Tianfeng's ultimate technique. Countless people exclaimed and retreated quickly. They also wanted to see if Lin Xian had the strength to make a stars ranking expert fear him. Facing the 8 heavenly sabers, Lin Xian didn't care. His palm swept across and arrived in front of his opponent. A slap landed on his opponent's face. Then Saber Saint Tianfeng was sent flying. Half of his face was smashed. The surrounding people were stunned. What did they see? The powerful Saber Saint was sent flying with a slap. Mo Duxing, who was watching from afar, narrowed his eyes and felt his scalp go numb. Fortunately, he had a good attitude and apologized in time. Otherwise, he would be the unlucky one. Chapter 48:09. A crazy roar came from the front. Saber Saint Tianfeng roared at the sky, and his broken face quickly recovered. However, his face was terrifyingly black. Damn it, you dare to hit my face? I will make you wish you were dead. His killing intent swept out. and endless heavenly saber runes appeared on his body, forming a heavenly saber totem. When the others saw this scene, their scalps went numb. They knew that Saber Saint Tianfeng was going all out. Kill! Saber Saint Tianfeng roared, and his saber light pierced through the sky, turning into thousands of light beams, slashing forward. It enveloped Lin Xian. A terrifying aura burst out, and the entire sky shattered. 1,000,000 miles turned into a whirlpool, and there was no place left intact. It's over. That person was hit. Even if he didn't die, he would be severely injured. Saber Saint Tianfeng laughed at the sky. Ha ha ha, kid, what do you have to fight with me? He walked over proudly. He wanted to take the 10,000-year-old ancient medicine from Saber Saint Tianfeng. Is this your strongest attack? It's pitifully weak. A figure walked out from the saber light that filled the sky. Golden light filled the sky, and there was not even a crack on his body. How could it be? Countless people were dumbfounded. Saber Saint Tianfeng stopped, and his face was full of fear. Saber Saint Tianfeng was not injured at all. Could it be that he dodged all the attacks? Impossible! Saber Saint Tianfeng was just a mid-stage Saint King. How could he have dodged all the attacks? Unless he was a great saint. In other words, Saber Saint Tianfeng had used his physique to block all the attacks. Saber Saint Tianfeng's attacks could not even break through Saber Saint Tianfeng's physique. Thinking of this possibility, he broke out in cold sweat. What kind of physique was this? He definitely could not provoke Saber Saint Tianfeng. Who exactly are you? Saber Saint Tianfeng only remembered to ask about Saber Saint Tianfeng's identity now. At the same time, he also knew why Mo Duxing wanted to escape. It was not because he was afraid of Saber Saint Tianfeng. Lin Xian waved his hand and smashed Saber Saint Tianfeng's face again, as if he was swatting a fly. Saber Saint Tianfeng crashed into a few mountains and fell to the ground, screaming crazily. Lin Xian smirked coldly as he stomped the other party's head into the ground. Don't you think that it's too late to know who I am? Blade Saint Tianfeng said. You can't kill me. My brother is called Small Blade God. If you kill me, he will not let Saint Tianfeng ask. Can I understand that you are threatening me? A cold killing intent appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Damn it! Blade Saint Tianfeng was terrified. He could no longer move his body. He could feel death approaching him. Show mercy. At this moment, a cold shout was heard. Then, a palm fell down and enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. He raised his hand and punched out. A golden fist shot up into the sky and knocked the palm back. After that, the golden fist did not disappear. Instead, it went straight for the figure. That figure was horrified. He executed a secret technique and instantly dodged. However, his face soon turned pale. Stop! She shouted angrily. I have no intention of attacking you. I just want you to hold back and not kill him. Who are you? How dare you meddle in my business? Lin Xian glanced at him. The surrounding people cried out in alarm. Heavens, if it was Nalan Yanran. This guy was actually able to force Nalan Yanran to retreat. It was too unbelievable. Saber Saint Tianfeng's eyes were filled with hope. He cried out, Sister Nalan, save me. Lin Xian frowned. Nalan Yanran, is she from the Nalan family? That's right, I am from the Nalan family. Nalan Yanran nodded. He offended you before. You can teach him a lesson, but please don't kill him. The surrounding people were shocked. Saber Saint Tianfeng was stunned too. He knew how prideful Nalan Yanran was. She was like a queen who ordered others around. But now Lin Xian used the word please. One could imagine how terrifying this young man was. He knew that he had kicked an iron plate this time. Hence, he could only lower his head. Young master, please spare my life. I won't dare to do it again. Lin Xian ignored him and looked at Nalan Yanran. For Nalan Liang's sake, I will give you face and spare his life. But if there is a next time, Don't blame me for being merciless." With that, Lin Xian waved his hand and left with the 10,000-year-old ancient herb. No one dared to obstruct him anymore. The power that Lin Xian displayed was truly shocking. They were all stunned. Not to mention the star's ranking experts. Naylan Yanran was a Heaven Sect expert and a Xian ranking expert. One could imagine how terrifying Lin Xian was. "Sister Naylan, thank you for saving me." Saber Saint Tianfeng stood up and cupped his fists in gratitude. Naylan Yanran looked at him and said, "Don't cause trouble in the future. There are too many experts here. Maybe some of them are top experts. Don't think that your brother, Small Knife God, can protect you forever. Take care of yourself in the future." After that, Naylan Yanran turned and left, but she was still confused. Lin Xian stopped not because of her or Small Knife God, but because of Naylan Liang. She and Naylan Liang were from the same family, but in the family, she was the most dazzling genius. And although Naylan Liang was talented, he couldn't be compared to her. She was a Xian ranking expert in the Heaven Sect. Naylan Liang participated in 2 tests, but didn't enter the Dao sect. The difference was huge. One was in the sky, and the other was on the ground. When did Naylan Liang know such an expert? She had to go back and ask. On the other side, Lin Xian also left. It seemed that these big families were indeed not ordinary. Their disciples were sent to the 3 major orthodoxies. And the 3 orthodoxies were probably inextricably linked to these ancient families and great sections. If the Naylan family was like this, the nest of 10,000 dragons background was probably even more terrifying. Who knew how many terrifying forces and families would be involved when the Dragon Prince was killed? Lin Xian took a deep breath, and a look of determination appeared in his eyes. No matter what, he had to get rid of the other party. Even if he had to become enemies with all the worlds in the universe, he wouldn't hesitate. For the next period of time, Lin Xian continued to look for ancient herbs. In the end, he collected the 3 10,000-year-old ancient monsters and the storage rings that he had obtained before. He collected everything that could be used in the storage rings. As for the other resources, he threw them all into the mysterious world. Now, he used all his strength to open up a small piece of land, which was about the size of a flower pot. He wanted to see what kind of changes would happen to the soil with enough power. Inside the mysterious world, Lin Xian quietly watched as the energy surged into the soil the size of a flower pot. Then it bloomed with a trace of light and fell silent again. The spiritual herb he planted also became dim and lifeless. Lin Xian was surprised. What kind of things had happened in this world to have become so strange? However, although he couldn't do anything, Lin Xian could cultivate himself here. He could even use it to avoid danger. He was curious. Did this world have a world core? Chapter 48:10. He could only walk 1,000 meters now. If he wanted to go further, he would have to wait until his strength increased again. Returning to the withered tree, Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and started to cultivate. The laws around him gathered. With a wave of his hand, 10 spiritual herbs appeared. Then Lin Xian used the hand of creation to gather them and swallow them into his body. He started to dissolve the medicinal effects. The immortal indestructible technique started to operate. Outside, a huge battle broke out. It seemed like everyone was fighting for something. Naylan Yanran attacked aggressively. Her palm turned into a sky as she attacked continuously. Behind her was the illusory image of an orchid, standing tall and upright. The leaves turned into divine knives and swords, stabbing at her continuously. The person fighting with him was also a woman. She was dressed in black and held a thin sword in her hand. The woman in black was forced to retreat. It seemed like she was no match for Naylan Yanran. Other than here, There was another battle in the distance. The woman in black escaped quickly. Nayland Yenran snorted coldly, "Put down the 10,000-year-old ancient herb, or don't blame me for being impolite." She chased and finally came to a valley. The two fought, and half of the valley was destroyed. Moreover, this was because they were far away. Otherwise, with a single sword strike, the entire land would have been reduced to ashes. In the mysterious world, Lin Xian opened his eyes. In the next moment, he walked out. When he saw the broken valley, his face darkened. Who was it who dared to disturb his cultivation? He snorted coldly, and the 9 heavens' divine thunder trembled. The two people fighting were stunned. Nayland Yenran frowned. "It's you." She met this mysterious guy again. The woman in black looked over and exclaimed, "You're a disciple of the Tao sect, right? Come and help me. The people of the Heaven sect bullied us." "You're from the Tao sect?" Lin Xian was shocked. "How did you know that I'm the same?" The woman in black said, "You have the Tao sect token. Of course, I can sense it. Come and help me." Lin Xian looked at Nayland Yenran and said, "I gave you face before. Now, give me face too. Let him go." "All right." Nayland Yenran turned and left. The woman in black was shocked. "You can let her leave? Who are you? Is there someone like you in the Tao sect?" Nayland Yenran was a heavenly sect master. She was on the Xian ranking. If she was on the same level as her, she should be on the Xian ranking. However, she had never heard of such a person in the Xian ranking of the Tao sect. Lin Xian laughed as well. "You're so weak, yet you still dare to provoke him. Aren't you afraid of being killed?" The black-clothed woman replied. "Who said I'm weak? Wasn't he looking for news about the Medicine King? So I spread out my power. No, you haven't told me who you are. How come I didn't know that an expert like you had appeared in the Tao sect?" "My name is Lin Xian." "So it was you." The black-robed woman was surprised. "So you are the brat who slapped the Dragon Palace's face. Although I didn't see the battle with my own eyes, I heard about it. You heavily injured Wang Zhonglo, killed Lan Zilu, and even killed one of Long Ao's incarnations. No wonder Nayland Yenran had to give you face." Lin Xian shrugged and looked at him. "What's your name?" "I'm Bai Susu." Lin Xian was stunned. It couldn't be related to Bai Zhen, right? "You know my brother?" Bai Susu was shocked. Lin Xian was also shocked. "You're Bai Zhen's sister?" His expression became strange. One must know that he had beaten up Bai Zhen before. Moreover, Bai Zhen was from the Dragon Palace. Didn't that mean she was also from the Dragon Palace? Bai Susu didn't know that Bai Zhen had been taught a lesson by Lin Xian before. However, she could tell that he was worried. Bai Zhen said, "Don't worry. Although Bai Zhen joined the Dragon Palace, I'm not from there. I'm not interested in the Dragon Palace, so I won't participate in the battle between you and the Dragon Palace." "Bai Zhen, is he your brother?" Lin Xian asked. Bai Susu rolled her eyes. "What kind of joke is this? How can trash like that be my younger brother? He's just a disciple from the Bai family. He's a distant relative. After he came to the Tao sect, I gave him a mansion. Since then, we haven't interacted much. However, I heard that after he joined the Dragon Palace, he bullied the weak and feared the weak. He's not a good person. If I meet him, I'll teach him a lesson." "That's good." Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. He had nothing to do with the Dragon Palace. He hated Bai Zhen. That was enough. At least Bai Zhen wouldn't be hostile to him, let alone seek revenge. Bai Susu didn't plan to attack Lin Xian. Instead, she looked at Lin Xian with interest. "You're a middle sage king, but you're so powerful. Not bad. Are you interested in getting the King of Herbs? Do you know where the King of Herbs is?" Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't have any information at all. Bai Susu said, "Of course, the King of Herbs is staying at 3 places. 2 of them are fake, and 1 of them is real. I know where it is. Why don't we work together?" If we really get it, we'll split it equally. Sure. Lin Xian nodded. However, he added, I want to take the root part. Bai Susu didn't mind. Could it be that you want to replant it? Such spiritual herbs of heaven and earth were nurtured by the heavens and earth, and only formed by chance and coincidence. It wouldn't be easy to plant it, and it would take a long time. The Taoist sect had specially opened up a field for spiritual medicine. It was very effective, but it couldn't grow the king of herbs. I want it to be useful. Lin Xiaoxiao didn't elaborate. He wanted to see if he could provide enough energy to the soil of the mysterious world to restore it. What would happen if he planted the king of herbs? Where did you say the king of herbs was? Lin Xian was curious. Bai Susu said, give me half a day. She should be here soon. Lin Xian didn't know what she was waiting for. However, he was stunned after half a day. He saw another young lady dressed in black jade flying over. Her appearance was identical to Bai Susu's. A clone? Lin Xian was surprised. However, he soon realized that something was wrong. It wasn't a clone, but an avatar. An avatar. Moreover, her avatar seemed to be more terrifying than Long Ao's. The two Bai Susu walked together, and their bodies fused together to form one. Their power also increased exponentially. How is it? Are you surprised? I have more than one avatar. Otherwise, do you think Nalan Yanran would be able to hunt me down? And more than one. Lin Xian was stunned. How many avatars did this girl have? Let's go. Bai Susu waved her hand and said. The two of them flew into the distance. Along the way, they flew past countless mountains and rivers. Finally, they heard the sound of an intense battle in front of them. Is it here? Lin Xian asked. Bai Susu shook her head. It's fake. Follow me. As she said that, she flew to the right. After flying for a while, they saw a valley. There were people fighting there too. However, Bai Susu shook her head. It's fake too. It's at the last place. The last place was a valley. There were people fighting there too. It seemed that someone had found all three places. However, they couldn't be sure where the king of herbs was. Chapter 48:11. Bai Susu pointed at the canyon and said, It's in there. That shouldn't be the case. If it's in the canyon, these people would have found it long ago. Lin Xian frowned. Bai Susu did not say anything. She flew out of the canyon, and a figure that looked exactly like her appeared. It was also a clone of Bai Susu. After Bai Susu merged with her clone, a cold light flashed in her eyes. The king of medicine was protected by several spirit veins. Those spirit veins had already cultivated into demons and were extremely terrifying. They had hidden their auras, so it was normal that these people could not find them. If it weren't for the fact that I could create multiple clones to investigate carefully, I probably wouldn't have found them either. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret god eyes and looked at the canyon. He realized that there was a mysterious force shrouding the canyon, preventing him from investigating. He snorted coldly, and an extremely terrifying light of reincarnation appeared in his eyes. He finally passed through the mysterious aura. He saw that there were 4 spirit veins protecting the king of medicine below. The king of medicine was crystal clear and was even more terrifying than a 10,000-year-old herb. Roar! Suddenly, one of the spirit veins roared at the sky and charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked. This spirit vein has really cultivated into a demon and has such intelligence. Where did this dragon come from? The people fighting in the surroundings were also puzzled. They looked in all directions. Lin Xian stretched out his hand. His 5 fingers turned into 5 divine swords and charged to the ground, tearing the canyon apart. You're making a move right away. Aren't you going to investigate further? Bai Susu was shocked. She originally wanted to discuss how to lure the people here away, and then act in secret. She did not expect Lin Xian to be so direct. Lin Xian said as he attacked. 4 spirit veins that have cultivated into a demon are terrifying. No matter how they hide, they will be discovered. Since that's the case, why don't we attack directly? Before the people in the other 2 places react, we'll get the King of Medicine and leave quickly. All right. Bai Susu gritted her teeth and attacked quickly. At this moment, her strength was much stronger than before. She was not inferior to Nalan Yanran at all. With a palm strike, it was as if it had turned into a waterfall charging towards a spiritual vein. The spirit vein turned into a spirit tiger and charged over. The 4 spirit veins turned into a spirit dragon, a spirit tiger, a spirit turtle, and a spirit sparrow. Just like the 4 great spirit beasts, they were extremely powerful. What is this? Demonic beast? The surrounding people were shocked. They looked carefully. Suddenly, they were shocked to find that a stalk of spiritual medicine was being protected by the 4 spirit veins. It was releasing an extremely terrifying radiance. The laws on the tree had materialized and were hanging on the tree trunk. King of Medicine. It was the Medicine King. Countless people cried out in alarm, their eyes turning red. They didn't expect their luck to be so good. The King of Medicine was right beside them. Attack. In an instant, these people rushed forward. The spirit turtle walked forward, its body continuously expanding until it turned into a towering mountain that cut off everything. The divine abilities that filled the sky slammed into its tortoise shell, creating a deafening sound. However, he was unable to break it. Was this guy really just a spirit vein? Everyone was shocked. This was even more terrifying than a top-notch demonic beast. Lin Xian also frowned. He could tell that the spirit turtle was indeed a spirit vein. Moreover, this spirit vein was very bright and spread for tens of thousands of miles. In other words, the power of the entire world had been absorbed by this spirit vein. The power condensed by the other party was so terrifying that it couldn't be resisted head-on. Little guy, it's up to you. Lin Xian summoned Little White again. Little White was still a little confused at this moment, but it nodded. All right, what should I do? Lin Xian said, I'll take that spirit dragon away later. You can transform into the spirit dragon and go back. They shouldn't suspect anything, since you've eaten the transformation fruit. Find an opportunity to take the King of Medicine away. Then we can leave. Okay. Little White nodded. Lin Xian slapped the spirit dragon with his palm. His 5 fingers formed a claw and enveloped it, bringing it into the distance. The spirit dragon roared at the sky, its body transforming into tens of thousands of miles long. As it swayed, the sky and earth cracked, but it couldn't break through Lin Xian's palm. Kid, where are you going? Bai Susu was shocked. Lin Xian sent a telepathic message. When Bai Susu heard the plan, she was stunned as well. She looked at Little White and exclaimed, Can this little monkey really do it? That's a spirit dragon transformed from a spirit vein. Who can impersonate it? Lin Xian chuckled. Don't worry. Others can't do it, but this little guy can. All right then. Bai Susu could only wait on the spot. She was nervous as she fought against the spirit tiger. On the other side, Lin Xian brought the spirit dragon and charged into the distance. No one chased after them. Lin Xian took the opportunity and swallowed it into the mysterious world. The spirit dragon was still arrogant and wanted to fight back. But after entering the mysterious world, its body suddenly trembled. It was pressed to the ground by an invisible force. It cried out in pain, its expression turning into one of fear. Damned human, where is this place? Let me go. It spoke in human language and roared crazily. Lin Xian was shocked. You can speak. Seems like you've been born with intelligence. Since that's the case, it's easy. Stop struggling because you won't be able to escape. Do you think that your sacred domain can trap me? The spirit dragon roared into the sky. It waved its terrifying dragon claws and tore the world apart, but here it couldn't tear the void apart at all. This made it terrified. What kind of sacred domain is this? Lin Xian laughed. This isn't a sacred domain. This is a world, a very mysterious world. How is this possible? How can there be such a world? The spirit dragon was terrified. Even the buried Emperor's star is terrifying. Suddenly, he roared in horror because he realized that his body was shrinking and his power was disappearing. The ground below was absorbing its power. No, the spirit dragon begged. Spare me. I won't dare to do it again. I don't want the King of Herbs anymore. I'll give it all to you. Let me go. It was truly afraid. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. The spirit vein was terrifying, but it couldn't fight against this mysterious world at all. This world is too terrifying. At the same time, he was overjoyed. The spirit dragon was so powerful, and the other 3 spirit beasts were also formed from spirit veins. If he devoured them all, would this world be able to? Would there be some changes? Thinking of this, he was very excited and couldn't wait to go back and try. When this spirit dragon disappeared, Little White transformed into a similar dragon and flew back. It arrived beside the King of Herbs. The King of Herbs didn't notice it, and the other 3 spirit beasts didn't recognize it either. Bai Susu was stunned. This is really possible. How did this little monkey do it? She didn't know that Little White had eaten the transformation fruit. Moreover, it had eaten the entire fruit. In the past, when the transformation fruit appeared, those people would be able to transform after getting a bit. Not to mention now, Little White had eaten the entire fruit. No one would be able to tell the difference between the real and fake forms. Chapter 48:12. Little White approached the Medicine King and suddenly attacked. The treasure basin covered the Medicine King. The Medicine King wanted to escape, but he was sealed in an instant. The treasure basin was extremely mysterious. He could not escape after entering. Last time, the transformation fruit was also covered by Little White with the treasure basin. Later on, when he took out a large number of spiritual herbs in the valley, the transformation fruit was able to escape. Otherwise, he would not have been able to steal it. With the spiritual herbs in hand, Little White was happy and flew into the distance. Roar, roar, roar. The other 3 spirit beasts realized that the Medicine King was gone and immediately roared. They stared at the spirit dragon and roared nonstop. At the same time, they charged over. Oh no, the Medicine King disappeared. The others also charged over. Someone said, "Hurry up and inform our people to hurry over." Array formations were formed one after another. These people were notifying the others. The spirit dragon turned into Little White and flew into the distance with the treasure basin. At the same time, Lin Xian also walked out of the void. Little White jumped in front of him and handed the treasure basin over. In the next moment, the void fluctuated. A palm blocked it and directly enveloped Little White and the treasure basin. Then it disappeared. What was going on? Bai Susu was stunned behind him. Lin Xian's pupils constricted as well. Terrifying light burst from his eyes as he unleashed spatial powers. He saw a figure fleeing into the distance. Gu Feng. He was instantly furious. Only Gu Feng could use such a spatial ability in the younger generation. With a wave of his hand, a dragon-shaped sword Qi with the power of the great dragon sword soul slashed the void. Heaven and earth shattered, and the figure was forced out. However, he soon disappeared. Want to leave? Lin Xian locked his gaze on the other party. At the same time, he summoned the void beast and traveled through space. The two opened a space tunnel and disappeared. In front, Gu Feng's palm formed a space that completely enveloped Little White and the treasure basin. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. Lin Xian, no matter how powerful you are, you still fell into my hands. He was too proud. Previously, the ancient race helped Lin Xian, and he was imprisoned. Later, he was able to leave. Then, he came here. He joined the Earth sect. This time, when news of the Medicine King spread, he naturally came with the people from the Earth sect. As a genius of the Ground Clan, Gu Feng's space bloodline was extremely terrifying. After he arrived, he hid himself and waited in secret. Finally, the day he had been waiting for had arrived. Although he didn't know how Lin Xian managed to fool those spirit beasts, it wasn't important anymore. Little White struggled, wanting to resist. Gu Feng snorted coldly. It's useless. You can't escape at all. Suddenly, he frowned and looked behind him. Damn it. He was actually able to catch up. It was a void beast. Damn it. Since the other party had snatched the heavenly void beast away from him, he would definitely be able to use many spatial abilities. However, no matter how strong the heavenly void beast was it comparable to the heavenly void scripture of his martial monarch clan? Spatial exile. A large crack opened up an extra-dimensional space and enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He had been exiled, but not long after, he broke through the air and arrived. A terrifying dragon-shaped sword, aura, surrounded his body. Gu Feng frowned. Damn it, the great dragon sword. If it was someone else, he could completely exile them and not even return for hundreds of years. However, the other party was the successor of the Great Dragon Sword. The Great Dragon Sword's attack was unparalleled. It was simply his nemesis. He attacked with his sword. The yin-yang image covered heaven and earth. The yin-yang aura carried an extremely terrifying power. Among them, the power of death erupted. Gu Feng felt his hair stand on end. At the same time, Lin Xian transmitted his voice to Little White. After Little White received the news, she also quickly resisted. Boom. Taking this opportunity, Lin Xian slashed out with a powerful sword. Gu Feng was furious. He used the Great Void Transference. He also attacked powerfully. An illusory image appeared, and his real body appeared on the other side. Between the two, the combination of the illusory and the real, making it impossible for others to kill him. However, this sword strike had shattered the entire void, and the sealing barrier in his hand had also shattered. Little White fled. Her figure flashed and disappeared. Gu Feng didn't care. The little monkey grabbed the treasure bowl in the air. The treasure bowl shook violently, and the Medicine King rushed out. Lin Xian reached out, and a large golden hand enveloped it. Gu Feng's pupils shrank, and the void changed. In an instant, his body and the Medicine King switched places. At the same time, the void finger attacked the golden hand, blocking Lin Xian's attack. Gu Feng executed the Great Void Shift again, disappearing from sight. He grabbed the Medicine King and laughed proudly. Lin Xian, you did have the upper hand before, but now I have begun to cultivate the Void Scripture. This is the ultimate technique created by the Great Emperor. You are no match for me at all. From now on, the gap between us will only increase. After saying that, his figure completely disappeared. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, but he didn't chase. This Gu Feng's strength had become much stronger than before. It turned out that he had learned the Void Scripture. The ancient scripture created by the Great Emperor was indeed extraordinary. He knew that in addition to Gu Feng, Yi Wudao also cultivated the Heavenly Emperor Scripture. It was equally terrifying. These two people weren't imperial princes yet. He didn't know how strong imperial princes like the Dragon Prince and Kunpengzi would be with the Great Emperor's ancient scripture. It was probably unimaginable. Thinking of this, he clenched his fists. There was still a long way to go. Behind him, Bai Susu flew over and said, "Why aren't you chasing? There's no need to chase." "What do you mean?" Don't you want the Medicine King? Lin Xian smiled. He didn't take the Medicine King. As he said that, he waved his hand. The void split open, and the treasure bowl appeared. A Medicine King appeared in it. Bai Susu's eyes widened in disbelief. It was the Medicine King. What did he take? He took it. Lin Xian smiled. Bai Susu was stunned, but she soon understood that it was the little monkey. Previously, Little White could transform into a spirit dragon. It wouldn't be a problem for her to transform into a Medicine King at a critical moment. No wonder Lin Xian wasn't nervous. That's right, he took Little White. Don't worry, he won't let it run away. However, let's put on a show first. Lin Xian split the world with his sword. At the same time, he shouted angrily, "Gu Feng, you actually defeated me and took the Medicine King. Damn it." Bai Susu also roared crazily at the side, "Gu Feng, don't be arrogant. The people of the Path sect will be here soon. You definitely won't be able to escape." Their voices were like thunder. In addition, Lin Xian's sword shattered the sky within 1,000,000 miles. Gu Feng's figure also appeared. Although it was only for an instant, he disappeared without a trace. However, everyone in the surroundings heard it. Some of them even saw that figure. All of them were shocked. Gu Feng had obtained the Medicine King. Who was he? Was he very powerful? Someone said, "I know. He's from the Earth sect. He's a disciple of the ancients. Was he from the Gu family? Then he must know spatial magic. No wonder he could obtain the Medicine King. So what if he was from the Gu family? Are we the weak ones?" In an instant, countless figures rushed out. At the same time, the people from the other two battlefields also charged over, covering the sky and earth as they chased after Gu Feng. Chapter 48:13. Looking at the scene, Lin Xian smirked coldly. He was still far from being able to fight with him. Go, and devour the 3 spirit beasts. Turning around, he dashed towards the other 3 spirit veins. The 3 spirit beasts wanted to give chase as well. They had been guarding the King of Medicine for so many years, all for the sake of devouring him and turning him into a living being. But who would have thought that the King of Medicine would be taken away by someone else? Intolerable. The 3 spirit beasts soared into the air and chased after him. But just then, a figure stopped them. "The 3 of you, stay. Human ants, get lost. Anyone who blocks my way will die." The 3 spirit beasts were enraged. Bai Susu was terrified as well. What was this Lin Xian trying to do? Lin Xian's body shone brightly. Endless flames covered the entire world, forming a furnace that covered everything. In the next moment, he dashed towards the 3 spirit beasts. Opening the mysterious small world, the 3 spirit beasts roared and slashed their claws. But in an instant, they were swallowed into the space. When they appeared, they were immediately pressed to the ground by an invisible force. "Damn it, who dares to plot against me? Damned human, what kind of despicable method did you use? Get out here." The 3 spirit beasts roared. "Why are the 3 of you here too?" Just then, a voice rang out. The spirit tiger was stunned. Then it roared, "Spirit dragon. Damn it, you still have the cheek to come out? You're the one who took the King of Medicine. You broke our rules." The spirit dragon gritted its teeth. "It wasn't me. I was trapped by this human brat. Hurry up and break out. This place is terrifying. I've already absorbed a lot of my energy. I don't have much left." The spirit turtle looked around and asked, "Where are you?" He looked around. It was a desolate scene. There didn't seem to be any spirit dragon. "I'm here." The voice rang out. The spirit sparrow spread its wings and flew. It could only fly a few meters high, which shocked him. The spirit tiger exclaimed. It looked at a small mound in front of it and asked in shock, "Could it be you?" The spirit dragon's voice rang out. "That's right. It's me. How is that possible? The three spirit beasts were stunned. Their bodies were supreme-grade spirit veins that spanned millions of miles and contained endless energy and spirit chi. How could it be a small mound? They felt like they had been tricked. This was an illusion. The three of them roared. Lin Xian walked over and said, "There was no need to be shocked. He was indeed your companion. Not only that, the three of you will also have to obediently turn into three mounds here." Lin Xian waved his hand. He stretched out his hand and grabbed at the space in front of him. The three spiritual beasts wanted to resist, but their powers were already being devoured by the earth. It was rapidly weakening. All three of them had spirit beasts that had turned into spirit veins. When they landed on the ground, they let out terrified cries. No, Lin Xian smiled and placed the four spirit veins in a square, which could be used as a valley. From now on, all of his experiments could be carried out in this valley. The valley wasn't big, but it was formed by four supreme-grade spiritual veins. The soil in the valley should have changed a little. Lin Xian chuckled before turning around to leave. "You guys can slowly get used to this place." He turned to Bai Susu and said, "Let's go and chase after that fellow." Bai Susu was stunned. What was going on? Where were the three spiritual beasts? She was surprised. She couldn't see through the furnace of heaven and earth. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. They had gone to where they should go. The two of them rose into the air and flew into the distance. On the other side, Gu Feng was in a bad situation. His face was dark. Damn Lin Xian! He gritted his teeth at the thought of Lin Xian. He had already defeated Lin Xian, but Lin Xian revealed his identity at the last moment, causing countless people to chase after him. He was a genius of the Gu family. He had mastered spatial powers and cultivated the scripture of the void. He was extremely powerful and should be able to defeat everyone. Unfortunately, none of the people here were weak. They were all top powerhouses of the three great orthodoxies and the clan of the ancients. Fortunately, he cultivated the scripture of the void. Otherwise, he would have been defeated long ago. Leave the king of medicine here. At this moment, a cold shout was heard. A figure flew over from afar and turned into a peerless saber. He slashed down with a force that could destroy heaven and earth. The power was so strong that it made Gu Feng's hair stand on end. He thought that Lin Xian had come. However, it wasn't Lin Xian. It was a peerless saber wielder. Gu Feng used the Great Void Shift and dodged the attack. His face turned cold. He was already surrounded by people. The peerless saber wielder in front of him was extremely terrifying. It was Small Saber God. He was here too. Countless people exclaimed. Gu Feng frowned. He had heard of Small Saber God before. He was a peerless saber wielder of the heavenly saber mansion. The other party was given the title of Saber God. One could imagine how terrifying his saber techniques were. Void Exile. He created a terrifying spatial crack and banished himself into a dimensional space. He wanted to leave. Small Saber God shouted angrily and displayed a few sabers. At the same time, another person attacked from the other side. A golden fan made of intertwined feathers burned like the sun. It shrouded the area below. "You want to leave? Leave the king of medicine here." A cold voice sounded. Gu Feng's face turned ugly. This person was an expert from the Golden Crow race. Damn it. The weapon he used was refined from the wings of an ancient golden crow. It was extremely powerful. Gu Feng used the Great Void Shift and moved the terrifying flame to the other side. Seal him. He couldn't be allowed to escape. Nail and Yenren also walked out. The orchid behind her froze the area. Orchids were extremely tough. Ordinary orchids could grow on mountains, not to mention such a natural phenomenon. The entire area seemed to be sealed. In addition, the people from the Tao sect and the Heaven sect also came. There were also the clan of the ancients and the great factions. There were many people. Gu Feng's face darkened. With so many people attacking together, even if he could escape, he would be injured. It was very likely that he would be surrounded by everyone. These people had strong identities and methods. If he took out a few more powerful trump cards, he would be in danger. He looked into the distance and said, "Fellow disciples of the Earth sect, help me." Someone from the Earth sect walked over with a smile. "Junior brother Gu, we are from the same sect. Naturally, we will help. However, after this, will we share the Herb King?" "Of course. How can I take such a thing for myself? I will definitely share it with my senior brothers." Gu Feng smiled. However, he gritted his teeth in his heart. Who cares about the oath? He had to get through this first. All right. The people from the Earth sect laughed. They waved their hands and walked over. "Everyone, Gu Feng is from the Earth sect. We have already obtained the Herb King. Could it be that you want to snatch it? Cut the crap. Everyone who saw, the treasure has a share." Nail and Yenran snorted coldly. The others also had cold expressions. They were going to give away the treasure just like that. They were unwilling. Chapter 48:14. At this moment, someone screamed. Countless people turned their heads in shock. In the next moment, they saw an expert from the Earth sect being beaten into a bloody mist. Who was it? The people from the Earth sect were furious. They saw a figure that looked like a god of war walking over. The power on his body was so terrifying that it brought about a vision of heaven and earth. Yi Wudao. Seeing this, Gu Feng's face turned cold. The others were also shocked. Was he the Yi family's holy body? So strong. On the other side, endless light flashed, and someone roared. Everyone was shocked. What fast speed? Could it be someone from the Light Clan? These were all ancient desolate physiques. After all, it seemed that the Heaven sect had become stronger. Countless ancient families and sects were shocked. Even the people from the Earth sect looked cold. Attack. The man in the lead roared, and then a great battle broke out. Light was extremely fast, and he charged towards Gu Feng. In an instant, he was beside Gu Feng. Gu Feng's pupils shrank. It was indeed fast. It was close to teleportation. But so, what if it was fast? Could it be compared to his space mystique? His body turned illusory, and he dodged the attack. Then, he sent out a palm strike. On the other side, Yi Wudao also charged towards an expert. It was an expert from the Earth sect who had been famous for a long time. However, Yi Wudao was also terrifying. A great battle broke out in an instant. It was terrifying. In the void far away, two figures stood, looking into the distance. Bai Susu said. She found it hard to believe that so many experts had come this time. Two of them even possessed the ancient desolate body. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Old friends? Then he looked at the experts from the Earth sect and Heaven sect. His eyes were also shining. He looked at Bai Susu and said, "Wait here. I'll go and meet them." "Are you going to fight?" Bai Susu was shocked. Lin Xian nodded. In the next moment, a terrifying flame burst out from his body, illuminating the entire world. He charged forward. The people fighting in the front were stunned. They sensed the arrival of a powerful figure. Who was it? Many people looked over, but they couldn't see the face. All they saw was a golden fire god charging towards them. Boom. He threw a punch at one of the figures. That person tried his best to resist, but he was still sent flying by the punch. A black hole appeared in the sky. Countless people were shocked. How terrifying. Who was it? Who wants to fight me? After Lin Xian arrived, he was incomparably domineering, like a god. Gu Feng's expression was cold. Was this guy here again? His body became dim as he prepared to teleport. Leaf Dowdenier's eyes glittered as he could sense Lin Xian's physique. No one dared to? Lin Xian looked around and stared at a figure. The saber light on that person's body was biting cold. Small Knife God also frowned. His eyes shone with a cold light. Did the other party want to fight him? This was especially so after Shao Qin discovered that the other party had the aura of the Heavenly Saber, Mansion's blood. You've killed people from the Heavenly Blade sect. He slashed out with his saber. They quickly retreated. Countless people were terrified, although there were many geniuses here, including those with the ancient desolate body. Dagger God was probably the most terrifying one. Although he didn't have the ancient desolate body, he had been famous for a long time, and his saber technique was extremely powerful. If the saber slashed down, the flaming figure would definitely die. What a sharp saber! Lin Xian laughed. This time, he was here to fight to his heart's content. The 9 suns' divine fire on his body condensed into a flaming divine sword. He held it in his hand and slashed forward. With a clang, the saber and sword collided. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Boom! Saber light and sword shadows flashed between heaven and earth. Lin Xian sneered. "Show me your full strength." He slashed out again. It was like 9 suns opening the sky. Boom! Dagger God was furious. His eyes shone with a terrifying light as he held the saber with both hands. The peerless saber. He was really angry. Did the other party dare to challenge him? A sky-shattering sound was heard, and the void shattered. The destructive power swept through the 9 heavens. After the attack, a figure was sent flying. Countless people were shocked. Their faces were filled with horror because they realized that it was Dagger God who was sent flying. Dagger God's face was pale, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. Who was this flaming figure? It was unbelievable that he could injure Dagger God. Interesting. Let me try. At this moment, another person walked out. It was the same person from before. The leader was a powerhouse from the Earth sect. He had fought with Yi Wudao before. Now that he saw Lin Xian, he turned around and strode over. With every step he took, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Countless people exclaimed, "The Overlord!" Was he going to attack too? The Overlord's eyes were filled with a terrifying light. "Take my punch!" His fist bloomed with an unparalleled light, as if it had turned into the fist of the war god. Wherever it passed, the entire world was shattered. The flaming sword in Lin Xian's hand disappeared. At the same time, he clenched his fist and punched out, turning into a golden crow that roared between heaven and earth. With an earth-shaking sound, the 2 fists collided. Then, they each took 3 steps back. Millions of miles below, the mountains and rivers shattered and turned into nothingness. What was going on? Not only was this guy's sword technique powerful, but his physique was also so strong. He could actually fight against the Overlord. One had to know that only Yi Wudao, a sacred physique, could fight against the Overlord. However, the person in front of him did it. What kind of physique did he have? Behind them, Bai Susu was stunned. Wow, this guy was actually so powerful. No wonder he dared to challenge the Dragon Palace. The Path sect would probably not be peaceful in the future. In front, the Overlord was also stunned. In the next moment, an extremely bright light burst out from his eyes. "I thought you were a peerless swordsman, but now it seems that your physique is also very powerful. It's not weaker than the Yi family's sacred physique. I don't know where your limit is. I was just being casual just now, but I'm going to be serious now." At this point, he laughed loudly. The mountains in the distance kept shattering. No one could withstand his power. He had the strength to lift mountains, and his aura was unparalleled. At this moment, the Overlord was really powerful to the extreme. As one of the 3 great orthodoxies, the Earth sect did not have princes like the Dragon Prince and the Kunpeng Child. However, the experts in the sect were not weak at all. The Overlord was one of the representatives. He was very terrifying. On the other side, Lin Xian's blood was boiling. He did not expect that other than Yi Wudao, he would meet an expert with such a terrifying physique. This made him very happy. Good. I didn't use my full strength just now. Now, let's see if you can make me use my full strength. Lin Xian laughed and waved his fists. The entire sky turned into a sea of fire, forming an endless sun that descended. It was too terrifying. Countless people looked at this scene with shock. This mysterious flaming man was very powerful, far beyond their imagination. They wondered how the battle would end. Who would be stronger? Chapter 48:15. Some people said, "What are you thinking?" Of course, the overlord was stronger. Didn't you see how Yi Wudao was suppressed in his battle with Yi Wudao? Others said that Yi Wudao was young. Otherwise, his same physique would definitely be very strong. Humph! The overlord was also from the tyrants. Although the tyrants had never produced a great emperor, they could be called the uncrowned king in terms of strength. Even if Yi Wudao really had a greater mastery saint physique, a greater mastery tyrant physique was definitely not weak. As soon as he said that, everyone nodded. Indeed, in the past, there had been greater mastery saint physiques and greater mastery tyrant physiques. Both sides had won and lost. Now, the overlord was taking it seriously. The flaming man. He was afraid that he was in danger. The overlord's fists had the power to split open the sky, making Lin Xian feel the pressure. Lin Xian also shouted wildly. His fists turned into the only thing in the world, and he kept waving them. Every time the two of them collided, his arms would go numb, and his blood would boil. However, his strength was getting stronger and stronger. An expert. Lin Xian admitted that his opponent was definitely a top expert. His blood was boiling. Only by fighting such a terrifying expert could he improve faster. The two of them fought from the sky to the ground, like the earth to the sea. Everywhere they passed, everything turned to ashes. Countless people retreated, their faces filled with fear. The flaming man was too extraordinary. He could exchange more than 1,000 moves without being at a disadvantage. What kind of physique did he have? It must be the legendary physique in the starry sky. Who was it? Sounds of discussion could be heard. At that moment, the overlord roared angrily. His aura could swallow mountains and rivers. He struck out with a peerless attack. The victor was about to be decided. Lin Xian roared as well, using the 9 young divine physique to the extreme. Phantoms of 9 suns appeared on his body, surrounding him like a sun god. Fury of the 9 yang. Both palms struck out together, and a sea of fire filled the sky. Countless rays of light intertwined in front of them, and everyone could not open their eyes. They could feel that the power was about to tear them apart. Quickly defend. Countless people opened their saint domains to defend themselves. Some people who did not have time to escape vomited blood. Some people even turned half of their bodies into a bloody mist. The attack of the two was so terrifying. Damn it, has the sky become so terrifying? In the sky, a dimensional space appeared. Gu Feng's face was cold. 9 suns circling around him was the 9 young divine body, Lin Xian. Damn it, the other party's growth had exceeded his expectations. Did you see that? The others also cried out in alarm. 9 suns surrounded him. This was the legendary 9 young divine body. This kind of physique had disappeared for many years, and now he had appeared on the buried Emperor's star again. The great success of the 9 young divine body was not weaker than the sacred body or the overlord body. No wonder he could compete with the overlord. Countless cries of surprise rang out. Many people's eyes turned red. The reputation of the legendary physique was not in vain. How is the battle going? Everyone looked over carefully. Amidst the shattered mountains and rivers, a figure retreated, leaving endless cracks in the ground. The overlord retreated. His clothes were in tatters, and there were even tears in some places. One of his hands was also trembling nonstop. Although he tried his best to control it, it seemed that he could no longer control it. The overlord's eyes erupted with a cold radiance as he said through clenched teeth, "The 9-yang divine body had reappeared in the world. This is truly unexpected. I did not expect you to be able to cultivate the 9-yang divine body to such a level, to think that he could even suppress me." Countless people went into an uproar. Did this mean that the overlord was at a disadvantage in the previous exchange? This is truly inconceivable. Many shocked gazes looked at Lin Xian. "You are very strong." Lin Xian nodded. "I can only suppress you with just my physique." Indeed, if he only used the 9-yang divine body to suppress the other party, it would be easy to injure the other party. However, it would not be easy to kill the other party. Of course, if it was a life and death battle, it would be different. Lin Xian had many trump cards, so the other party must also have some trump cards. These geniuses could not be underestimated. Therefore, no one would know until the final moment. However, in terms of physique, Lin Xian had won. 9-yang divine body. This is truly unexpected. I will also experience it. Another cold voice sounded. Endless frost condensed in the distance, forming an ice river that hung in the sky. Above the ice river, a figure streaked across at high speed. Then, she stood at the top of the ice river and looked down. The ice wings on her body made everyone freeze. "Bing Ling, she is here too?" Naylan Yenran frowned. Yi Wudao, the overlord, and the others squinted their eyes. This woman was from the Blue Clan. Her bloodline was extremely terrifying. It was said that she had a great opportunity. When she was training outside, she met a Nirvana Ice Phoenix and obtained the Ice Phoenix Divine Fruit. This made her ice bloodline even more terrifying. Bing Ling waved her hand. An endless frost flew over, trying to freeze the world. Illusory suns circled around Lin Xian's body, and boundless divine fire clashed with it. The two of them collided in a silent confrontation. They melted and then froze. This was a bizarre scene, and everyone was dumbfounded. Lin Xian was also surprised. He did not expect the Blue Clan to have such a genius. She was much stronger than Lan Ziyu and Lan Zilu. No wonder the Blue Clan could stand tall in St. Origin Ancient City and become one of the top clans. Frost Sword. In the sky, Bing Ling waved her hand, and the frost in the sky turned into a divine sword and fell. Heaven and earth were sealed in ice and then shattered into pieces. Lin Xian snorted and waved his hand. The 9-yang fire turned into the 9 heavens. Flames danced in the sky and turned into a fire dragon that roared between heaven and earth. The collision between the ice sword and the fire dragon spread out in all directions with them as the center. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. "Since you want to experience my 9-yang divine body, it is not as simple as just flames." He moved his feet and used the skywalk step. Together with the strength of his physique, he turned into a peerless divine sword. Instantly, he split open the void and rushed forward. Not good. Countless people exclaimed. Bing Ling was in danger. The 9-yang divine body had endless vitality and a terrifying physique. In close combat, Bing Ling did not have the advantage. Lin Xian advanced courageously, crushing everything in his path. Bing Ling roared and froze. She stretched out her hand and slapped forward. In the palm of her hand, a beam of cold light flew out and froze everything. Layers of ice appeared all over Lin Xian's body. There were thousands of layers freezing him in the air. However, in an instant, those layers of ice shattered. Lin Xian charged forward like the sun again. What a terrifying power! Bing Ling frowned. She tapped her feet and floated backward. At the same time, she waved her hand, and a snowstorm gathered in the sky. Once he entered her domain, everything would slow down. As expected, Lin Xian was not as fast as before. However, he still charged forward with an astonishing momentum. Finally, he arrived in front of her and punched. Bing Ling did not panic. Instead, a smile appeared on her face. Ice barrier. She opened her palms, and a barrier instantly enveloped Lin Xian. The power of ice inside was much stronger than before. Obviously, she had been waiting for a killer move. Chapter 48:16. She was sealed. Countless people were shocked. It seemed that the ice spirit sect was better. Bing Ling laughed. Looks like you're the one who lost. But in the next moment, she was stunned. She realized that the enchantment was breaking quickly, and a figure was gradually becoming clear. Then, a fist came towards her. Retreat. With a bang, the enchantment was broken, and Bing Ling was pushed back by the punch. Crack! 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 She retreated far away, and then countless cracks appeared on Bing Ling's body. With a crack, she broke into countless ice cubes. Countless people were shocked. She lost? No, it was an ice clone. In another place, Bing Ling's figure appeared. Her face was a little pale. Although she used the ice clone to dodge the fatal blow, but it still hurt her a little. Should she continue? The ice on Lin Xian's body melted. He stood there, shining in all directions like the sun wore God. There's no need, Bing Ling said coldly. She felt that the other party was very strong. If she didn't pay a price, she wouldn't be able to defeat him. Moreover, the main target now wasn't Lin Xian, but Gu Feng. The others were also silent. Lin Xian had shown his strong physique and terrifying swordsmanship in 3 attacks. For a moment, no one dared to come forward. Everyone, ignore this kid. Our target is the Medicine King. Bing Ling raised her head and looked at Gu Feng in the distance. There was ice everywhere. The others were also moving. Attack. The battle broke out again. The great conqueror led the people of the Earth sect to fight back crazily. At the same time, he shouted, Gu Feng, you go first. Gu Feng gritted his teeth, formed a space tunnel, and disappeared. However, there were many experts here. He was chased all the way and fought with them. It had to be said that Gu Feng was also very strong. Although he had just started cultivating the Void Scripture, he could already display great power. The Great Void Shift and Void Conversion were 2 absolute arts that allowed him to escape every time he was in danger. Surrounded by more than 10 top experts, he still let the other party escape in the end. However, more and more people came later. In the end, dozens of people came. Gu Feng's scalp was numb. No matter how strong he was no match for these dozens of experts. In the end, he exiled himself. At the same time, a mirror appeared on his body, shattering the world, and he escaped. Replica void mirror. Countless people gnashed their teeth in anger. This was an imitation of an extreme Dao weapon, and its might was no weaker than a great saint artifact's. Damn it, did he let him escape? They hurried to look for him. Soon, countless people were on the move. Within the vast snowy mountains, a figure appeared. He then spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Detestable. Gu Feng clenched his teeth. Fortunately, he had a treasure to protect him at the last moment. Otherwise, he would have been in real danger. But soon he began to laugh proudly. So, what if there were dozens of top-notch experts? Didn't he still manage to escape? At this moment, a voice behind him laughed. It seems that you are very happy. Who was it? Gu Feng's hair stood on end. He had already escaped, so how could there still be someone who could catch up to him? He turned around and attacked with a finger in the air. A terrifying sword light came from behind, shattering the void around him. It's you. Gu Feng gritted his teeth. He did not expect it to be Lin Xian again. Beside him was a woman in white. It seemed like he was an expert from the Dao sect. Brat, how did you find this place? Gu Feng was really shocked. It would have been very easy to find him. Did he think that he could hide from everything with his void divine ability? It was useless. Gu Feng gritted his teeth and took out a replica of the void mirror. If I want to leave, you can't stop me, Lin Xian said. I don't want to stop you. I'm just here to take back something. Do you want the Medicine King? Don't think about it. You're dreaming. Lin Xian shook his head. Are you sure that you got the Medicine King? After saying that, Lin Xian waved his hand, and a spirit medicine appeared in his hand. It was surrounded by the Great Tao. It was abnormally terrifying. How was that possible? Gu Feng's pupils constricted. That was the Medicine King. Then what did he get? He took out the Medicine King that he had obtained. However, in the next moment, the Medicine King in his hand turned into a little white monkey that made a face at him. Its body flashed and disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already beside Lin Xian. Damn it, it was actually a damn monkey. How was that possible? He knew Little White. It was the monkey by Lin Xian's side. But how could it turn into the Medicine King? How could it fool him? Damn it, Gu Feng roared angrily. He wanted to attack. However, Lin Xian retreated with Little White, and Bai Susu had already flown into the distance. Lin Xian used all his strength and roared, Gu Feng, don't even think about escaping. As he said that, he shot out a bolt of lightning that turned into a lightning dragon that tore through the sky. Quick, don't let them escape. Those people in the distance quickly charged over. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian smiled. He came to Bai Susu's side and summoned the dimensional beast. The two of them gradually disappeared. Damn it, where do you think you're going? Gu Feng shot out a spatial canyon that enveloped Lin Xian and Bai Susu. However, he was still a step too late. The two of them disappeared. In the distance, a few figures came over. It's really Gu Feng. Come quickly. I can't let him escape this time. Gu Feng's expression was ugly. He turned around and disappeared. What followed next was a huge pursuit. Finally, Gu Feng was surrounded by more than 10 people again. This time, Bing Ling personally took out a frost enchantment barrier. This barrier was even more terrifying than the one that sealed Lin Xian in ice. This was because Bing Ling took out the Scepter of Ice. This was a great sage artifact formed from the bone of an ice phoenix. It was extremely powerful. Damn it, the Medicine King isn't with me. I've been deceived. It's useless for you to look for me again. Gu Feng snorted coldly. Are you kidding me? You've been deceived? Then who has the Medicine King? The ice phoenix asked. Lin Xian had the Medicine King. Who was Lin Xian? The others frowned. They had never heard of him. Lin Xian had swept through the Path Sect before, but that was only within the Path Sect. People like Bing Ling and the Overlord had already spread their aura to other sects and families. Lin Xian had not reached that stage yet, so it was normal that these people had not heard of him. It was the flaming figure from before. Gu Feng gritted his teeth. He was the mastermind behind the scenes. It was him. Countless people were shocked. They thought of the flaming figure. The other party was indeed very strong. Was he also a new genius? It was really too shocking. Bing Ling snorted coldly. Stop lying. If he was the mastermind, why didn't you say so at that time? Do you think we're easy to fool? Attack. After a huge battle, Gu Feng was so angry that he vomited blood. He was telling the truth, but he could not explain, because everyone saw that he had taken the Medicine King, but the Medicine King was fake, and he could not produce any evidence. Small Knife God charged over and slashed out. He said, if you want us to believe you, take out your storage room. We want to search your soul. Impossible! Gu Feng roared. There were many treasures in there, and even his family's secrets. How could he allow others to search? Since that's the case, you're lying. Attack. Those people attacked again. Chapter 48:17. Gu Feng was in a miserable state. He was injured soon after. Especially Bing Ling and Small Knife God. Those two were too terrifying. Damn it. Just you wait. I'll remember this. Gu Feng gritted his teeth. In the next moment, his bloodline burst out. The void mirror replica above his head shone brightly, creating a void passage. Not good. Don't let him escape. Small Knife God roared. Bing Ling also used the icebound scepter to the extreme. However, it was useless. Gu Feng's void scripture that he had used to ignite his bloodline had disappeared. Damn it! Everyone shattered the void for millions of miles, but they still couldn't find the other party's figure. He escaped. Bing Ling gritted her teeth. Knife God also frowned. As expected of someone from the monarch race, that was a spatial ability. It was too terrifying. It was easy to injure him, but difficult to kill him. On the other side, Lin Xian and Bai Susu appeared on a plane. Their lips curled up. Lin Xian set up a formation that covered the sky. Then he took out the Medicine King and split it in half. He gave the upper half to Bai Susu. As for the lower half, he kept it. What should they do next? Bai Susu asked. She was very happy after obtaining the Medicine King. She felt that Lin Xian was very reliable. She suggested that they should make another move and continue searching. Lin Xian shook his head. No, the mission is over. I plan to return. Although there were many spirit veins on the medicine planet, Lin Xian didn't dare to take them. If he took them again, the peerless experts on the medicine planet would make a move. At that time, there might even be sacred masters. It would be very difficult. Therefore, the most important thing was to obtain the world core. Only then could he completely control a world. The power of the entire world would be under his control. He had a world core. It was the Rain Clan's Pisces star. However, it was too far away from the buried Emperor star. Lin Xian couldn't go back now. When he returned to the true spirit world to save Xiajuyo, he would go to Pisces star. But now he had to find a new world. All right. Bai Susu nodded in agreement. We tricked Gu Feng. That guy, that fellow definitely won't let this matter rest. We better not be surrounded by the Earth sex people. The two of them prepared to leave. However, a day later, they were stopped by someone. A few silhouettes walked out from afar. They were brimming with killing intent. One of the elder's eyes emitted an extremely terrifying radiance as he stared at Lin Xian. It's you. I can feel the blood of the Blue Clan's disciples on you. You've killed people from the Blue race. There was an ancient altar in the old man's hand. It was extremely terrifying. There was a broken jade tablet on it. Clearly, the other party had used a secret technique to look at him. What's going on? Bai Susu frowned. She had no idea what had happened to Lin Xian. Lin Xian said that there were a few people who didn't know what was good for them, and I killed them. They should be here for revenge. Do you need me to do it? Bai Susu asked. Lin Xian said, No need. I don't care about these people. How dare you underestimate us? Attack. The leading elder waved his hand, and 4 experts from the Blue race charged over. They turned into ice dragons and covered the sky. Lin Xian formed a hand seal, and a Taiji diagram appeared in his hand. Slash. The Taiji diagram flew over and turned into a stream of light, splitting the bodies of the two. At the same time, Lin Xian used the skywalk step and charged in front of the other two. With the man-ruler seal in his left hand and the rock seal in his right, he smashed the two into a bloody mist. In the blink of an eye, the 4 of them died. Damn it! The elder on the other side was furious. Did the 4 people he brought die just like that? They were all peak Grand Sage Kings. They had hopes of becoming great sages in the future. Now that they died, his heart was bleeding. You're courting death. He personally charged over. Be careful. This is a veteran great sage. Behind him, Bai Susu's eyelids twitched. She felt a shocking sense of danger. Lin Xian also frowned. The other party was indeed very strong. He was a veteran great sage. The elder charged over, holding a blue divine sword in his hand. He pointed it at the void. An endless cold light flew out from the blade. The sword pierced the world. With one strike, the entire plain was completely sealed. It even spread further into the distance. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not dodge. Instead, he charged over. He activated the 9 suns divine fire to the extreme. It turned into 9 suns that bloomed in the surroundings. The ice near him melted. Then he slapped the blue divine sword with his palm. With a clang, the divine sword shook. The elder's palm went numb, and the sword almost flew out of his hand. His pupils constricted. What a terrifying physique and strength! He did not expect the person in front of him to be so terrifying. No wonder he could kill so many people from the blue race. Now, he was certain that the fallen great sage of the blue race was Lan Mingtian. He was an expert on the saint origin ranking. He had the chance to become a great sage or a sacred lord in the future. However, he had actually died. Kill! He roared crazily. The kid in front of him was too terrifying. Since they were enemies, there was no need to keep him alive. Thinking of this, the elder shouted angrily. The coldness in his body exploded. The law of ice wrapped around the divine sword, shaking it continuously. It pierced the sky. Lin Xian used the 9 suns' divine body to fight back. Both sides fought fiercely. He felt a great threat. The elder was indeed a veteran expert. His strength was even more terrifying than the overlord's. The cold ice was even more terrifying than icicles. Let me show you what a real sword technique is. Lin Xian was furious. The 9 suns' divine fire gathered and formed a flaming divine sword. He slashed out with the sword like a fire dragon. Clang! The ice sword and the fire sword collided. The entire sky was shrouded in 2 different forces. Ice Soul's sword. The sword in the elder's hand burst out with a dazzling light. Obviously, it was not an ordinary weapon. It was a great sage artifact. Kid, I admit that you are very strong. You have the combat strength of a great sage, but your foundation is too weak. Let me show you what kind of strength a true great sage should have. He slashed out with his sword, freezing the divine fire in the sky. Then, the sword swept out, turning into sword shadows that filled the sky. Lin Xian kept retreating. Not good. Bai Susu became nervous. A great sage with a great sage artifact. It was too terrifying. She wanted to go forward and ask for resources, but Lin Xian said that there was no need. He would do it himself. Lin Xian's face was cold. The elder opposite him laughed. Do it yourself? Kid, even with your companion, the 2 of you are no match for me. What do you have to fight me? Do you know the power of a great sage artifact? As he spoke, he slashed out with his sword again. The flames on Lin Xian's body almost dimmed. Was a great sage artifact that powerful? Lin Xian waved his hand, and the great destruction spear flew out. He grabbed it and slashed down like a divine sword. With a boom, the frost in the sky shattered. Boundless demonic qi swept across the land. In terms of foundation, you are far inferior. Lin Xian was like a resurrected demon god. He attacked powerfully. Chapter 48:18. You actually have such a trump card? The elder was shocked. His face turned cold. Kill! He roared in anger. Terrifying sword chi swept across the area. He would not give Lin Xian another chance. The biting cold sword chi rushed towards Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian was even more terrifying. Like a demon god, he shattered all the icy sword chi. He charged over and beat the elder until he was forced to retreat. Bai Susu was shocked to see this scene. It seemed that Lin Xian had not used his full strength previously. This guy was too terrifying. He could always shock him. Lin Xian looked ahead and said loudly, "You're just SOO. It seems that you won't be my match even if you live for a few thousand more years. Show me what other trump cards you have. Otherwise, I'll send you to hell." On the other side, the elder's face turned ugly. He was a great sage of the older generation and had a great sage weapon. Even so, he was still not Lin Xian's match. He did not believe that there was such a powerful person in the younger generation. He must get rid of this peerless enemy. A terrifying aura suddenly erupted from his body. Then, the Azure Ice Divine sword in his hand bloomed. The terrifying radiance suddenly enlarged and turned into 1,000 meters long. It slashed down crazily like a heavenly sword, sealing the sky, sealing the earth. Not good. Bai Susu's face changed drastically. She did not expect this elder to use such terrifying power. It seemed that the older generation was indeed the older generation. They could not be underestimated. The elder on the other side laughed sinisterly. His face turned pale instantly. It was obvious that this sword had used up all his strength. However, the power of this sword was incomparably terrifying. Even a great sage of the same level would die without a doubt. Lin Xian's face darkened. It seemed that the older generation was indeed powerful. It would be difficult for the younger generation to block such a killing move. However, it was a pity that the other party met him. He waved his hand. The black heaven devouring jar appeared. Then it turned into a huge vortex that swallowed the sky and earth. A black hole appeared in front of him, as if it was going to swallow everything. "It's useless. You can't block it at all." The elder sneered. His sword slashed down crazily. It could seal everything. This elder was truly overjoyed. He knew that Lin Xian was a top-notch genius. His talent, strength, and trump cards were all very strong. If Lin Xian grew up, he would be a huge threat to their family. However, it would be great if he died here. He had gotten rid of a danger for his family. Furthermore, he had also taken a fancy to the great sage artifact in the other party's hand. Thinking about it, the other party must have other treasures. If that was the case, Yi Fuqian's harvest would be bountiful. It could be said that he had killed many birds with one stone. As for what that black vortex was, he didn't care. Could the other party contend against him? However, when the sword landed on the black vortex, he was stunned. He realized that the effect he had imagined did not happen. The black vortex seemed to be able to swallow everything. What was that? He really couldn't believe it. Bai Susu also widened her eyes in shock. She had already intended to tell Lin Xian to run away, but before she could even utter a word, Lin Xian's voice suddenly sounded. Then, a strange scene occurred. The peerless Shurkill sword had been swallowed. "I told you. You're just SOSO. Lin Xian's expression was cold as he walked forward. The heaven-devouring jar released a terrifying aura. Damn it! The elder opposite him turned around and left. That Shurkill attack had used up most of his strength. He was no match for Lin Xian at all. He had to hurry back to inform his family that such a peerless enemy had appeared. "You want to run? Do you think you can?" Lin Xian waved his hand, and the spear of destruction released a terrifying demonic sword chi that directly pierced through the elder's body. Elder Zhang screamed in agony as his blood dyed the sky. Damn it! He ignored his injuries and used all his strength to escape. At the same time, 16 pills flew out of his storage ring and were swallowed by him. However, that was not enough. His eyes were bloodshot because he saw the second sword slash out. This time, the sword transformed into a black dragon and clawed down from the sky. His back was badly mutilated. "Damn brat, I'll remember you. I'll never let you go. The elder roared crazily. Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, he spat out a large mouthful of blood and almost fell from the sky. Damn it, my soul. He was terrified. In that instant, an extremely terrifying soul power surged into his mind. It almost tore his soul apart. Although he didn't die, he was seriously injured. Lin Xian used the skywalk step and quickly chased after him. Old thing, aren't you very arrogant? You still want to use a sure-kill attack to kill me. Have you ever thought about what will happen after using a sure-kill attack? Elder Zhang's face was ugly. Indeed, if one couldn't kill the enemy with a sure-kill attack, then the outcome would be very miserable. For example, he could only be beaten up. However, he was a great sage after all, and a veteran great sage. He used the Ice Frost Divine sword to block in front of him, protecting his vitals. As for the other injuries, he endured them. He swore that he would definitely take revenge. However, he had underestimated Lin Xian. The sky-devouring jar flew up and froze the Ice Frost Divine sword. Then, Lin Xian attacked forcefully. Rock Seal. The golden palm condensed into a rock carrying divine flames that filled the sky as it charged over, enveloping the elder. There were even more cracks on the elder's body. He was charred black, and the smell of barbecued meat wafted out. He was about to be roasted. Damn it. He gritted his teeth and vomited blood, but he didn't dare to fight back. Great, desolate heaven's splitting hand. Lin Xian opened and closed his hands. A large crack tore open, directly turning the elder's legs into a bloody mist. Ah, damn ant, I won't let you off. Just as he finished speaking, the primordial demon mountain descended from the sky. This strike shattered his head, and there was no place on his body that was intact. He was really crazy. He wanted to sweep through thousands of years. When did he get beaten up like this? And by a young man. It was over. Lin Xian's expression was cold, and the power in his body erupted again. The great spear of destruction flew out with an extremely terrifying aura of death. No, the elder was finally terrified. He felt that his life was in danger. He tried his best to dodge, but this strike still tore his body into pieces. Fellow Taoist from the medicine sect, please save my life. The Blue Clan will be eternally grateful. The elder's soul roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly and attacked again. This attack was definitely enough to kill the elder. However, at this moment, a cold shout came from the sky. Such a vicious attack at such a young age. A large hand appeared out of thin air and directly shattered the black dragon sword chi. Lin Xian also felt like he was struck by lightning. His pupils constricted, and he used the skywalk step to instantly retreat. The place where he originally stood was shattered. Who is so terrifying? Lin Xian was shocked. This attack was completely beyond that of an ordinary great sage. It was definitely not something that an early-stage great sage could do. It was an even more terrifying existence. Bai Susu, who was behind him, was also stunned. Did someone in the mid-stage great sage make a move? This was too terrifying. Ordinary geniuses could fight above their level, but they could only rely on the early-stage great sage. However, it was too difficult to fight against a mid-stage great sage. It was basically impossible. Lin Xian, run, he shouted anxiously. Chapter 48:19. The flaming hand circled in the sky. At the same time, a flaming human face appeared and stared at Lin Xian. He was like a god looking down on the ants of the world. Lin Xian looked like he was facing a great enemy. The elder cheered wildly. He said, "Fellow cultivator, help me kill that kid. The blue race is willing to give you a world." The great sage of fire smiled and said, "Don't worry, the medicine sect has always been cooperating with the blue race. It's not a problem to help you. A strange flame appeared in his eyes as he stared at Lin Xian. The young man below was a genius. But so what? He was much stronger than the elder of the blue race. He was a realm higher than the elder. No matter how talented the other party was, he was no match for him. Moreover, the other party could defeat the great sage of the blue race, which meant that he had many trump cards. He was interested in the other party's weapon and the strange flame on the other party's body. It would be very helpful to him. The great sage thought of many things in an instant. Killing Lin Xian was very beneficial to him. He could also gain the gratitude of the blue race. Why not? Young man, you're too vicious. Let me suppress you. The flaming hand in the sky shone brightly. Lin Xian's face was cold. He snorted. Old thing, do you have the right to lecture me? Previously, he relied on his lifespan of a few thousand years and cultivation base of a great sage to kill me. Wasn't he vicious? You rely on the fact that your cultivation base is much higher than mine to attack a young junior like me. Aren't you vicious? What right do you have to lecture me? What a sharp-tongued kid. However, it was useless to say anything. In the face of absolute strength, everything was futile. The giant hand in the sky fell. Lin Xian, run! Bai Susu shouted angrily. She formed 3 avatars. They attacked together and unleashed a peerless attack. However, they could not block it. Lin Xian snorted. A fierce killing intent appeared in his eyes. So, what if the other party was a mid-stage great sage? It was impossible for him to kill him. He activated the heaven-devouring jar with all his strength and formed a terrifying vortex to block the attack. At the same time, he summoned Whitey and infused the power of the great dragon sword spirit into Whitey's body. Go ahead. With the support of the dragon sword spirit, Whitey flew off into the distance and came before the elder of the blue race. The broken body of the elder of the blue tribe was slowly recovering. When he saw that it was a little monkey, he laughed coldly. An ant dares to fight against me? An extremely terrifying, soul-killing intent burst out from his eyes. He turned into a soul sword and charged toward Whitey. The dragon-shaped sword energy on Whitey's body destroyed everything. At the same time, he took out a purple gourd. The power of the great dragon sword spirit that Lin Xian had given him had all entered the purple gourd. Oh, baby, please turn around. Whitey's voice resounded in the air as a purple flying sword flew out of the gourd. With the power of the great dragon sword spirit, it seemed to have transformed into a purple dragon that instantly pierced through everything. Puff! Heaven and earth froze at this moment. The soul of the elder of the blue clan stopped in midair and gradually extinguished. This was impossible. He couldn't believe that he would be killed by a monkey. Damn it, how dare you? The great sage of flame roared. Another flaming palm scratched Whitey. Whitey quickly retreated. Where are you going? He stared at the purple gourd with bloodshot eyes. To be able to destroy the soul of a great sage in one move, this gourd was definitely a heaven-defying treasure. It might even be the legendary item. He had to get it. Whitey returned to Lin Xian's side and slapped 2 large palms toward Lin Xian. The boundless vortex was also constantly being shattered. Although the heaven-devouring jar was half an extreme weapon, it was related to the strength of the user. The strength of the old man in front of him was too terrifying. Even the heaven-devouring jar could only protect itself. Lin Xian retreated with a pale face. He gritted his teeth and said, "Old man, tell me your name. I'll kill you one day." "You?" The old man in the sky sneered. Gradually, he condensed into a figure. "Remember, I'm the great sage of flame. When you go to hell, don't tell me the wrong name." After saying that, he laughed sinisterly and slapped his palms again. "Medicine sect, great sage of flame. I'll remember you. One day, I'll let you go to the 18 levels of hell After saying that, a void beast appeared beside Lin Xian. It condensed into a space channel and disappeared in an instant. The large flaming hand fell, shattering heaven and earth. However, he was long gone. Space transmission? You can't escape. The great sage of flame roared angrily. The boundless law of fire condensed and charged toward the distance. Blazing red lotus. The law of fire in the sky condensed into countless flaming lotuses. They opened up between heaven and earth. The void shattered, and even the spatial passageway that Lin Xian had created cracked. One could only imagine how terrifying the other party was. What should I do? Bai Susu, who was next to him, also had an ugly expression. Lin Xian said, "Protect me." He used all his strength, summoned the great dragon sword soul, and slashed toward the sky. The blazing red lotus in the sky shattered like a mirror and scattered on the ground. How is that possible? The great sage of flame was stunned. Does the other party still have a trump card to contend with me? When he wanted to chase after him, he found that the other party had already disappeared. Detestable brat, I won't let you escape from the medicine planet. He was prepared to mobilize the power of the medicine sect to search for him and even seal the entire star realm. Buzz. In the starry sky, a few figures appeared. It was Lin Xian and the others. Bai Susu looked at the stars in the sky in surprise. Did he leave? She couldn't believe it. To be honest, she had already prepared for the worst. Even if she was captured by the other party, she would risk her life to protect Lin Xian. Because her parents' identities were not ordinary, the other party would definitely give them face. However, before she could do anything, Lin Xian had already left. She was surprised. What was that attack just now? Could it block the blazing red lotus that filled the sky? On the other side, his face was pale. He took out a 10,000-year-old spirit herb and swallowed it. He said, "Let's go." They entered the black earth and flew quickly. Bai Susu's heart ached. That was a 10,000-year-old spirit herb, and you just ate it like that. Lin Xian said, "So what? It's a dead elder of the blue tribe anyway. It's a waste not to eat it." When Little White killed the elder's soul, it also took the elder's storage ring. It was a pity that the great sage weapon had a spirit and flew away. Otherwise, they would have another great sage weapon. Xiao Bai nodded too. She took out more spiritual fruits from the elder's storage ring and started eating them. It was very happy. Bai Susu's heart ached even more. This little monkey is eating too extravagantly. Even I don't have such treatment. But Little White was too cute. She looked at Little White and smiled. "Little guy, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. You've done a great job this time." Little White's eyes narrowed into crescents. It stretched out its little paw. "I'm good. Give me some spirit fruits." Bai Susu was so angry that she found it funny. "All right, I'll give it all to you." They heaved a sigh of relief. However, they didn't know that in the starry sky not far from them, there was another spirit ship flying quickly. Chapter 48:20. Inside the spirit boat. Gu Feng's face was cold, and there was still blood on his body. He gritted his teeth and said, "The king medicine I got is fake. The real one is with Lin Xian. I swear it on the honor of my family." Beside him were the experts of the Earth sect, and the Overlord was there as well. Their faces were cold and gloomy. The conqueror's brows furrowed tightly. "You're saying that the flaming figure I fought with was Lin Xian?" "That's right. It was him." Gu Feng gritted his teeth. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. According to Gu Feng, Lin Xian and Gu Feng were of the same age. Compared to the tyrant and the others, he was a little smaller. Such a person was a little too heaven-defying. was the 9-yang divine body, already so terrifying. Gu Feng gritted his teeth and said, not only did he have the 9-yang divine body, but he also had many fortuitous encounters. He was also the descendant of the great dragon, and his fighting strength was unparalleled. The legendary great dragon sword, everyone from the Earth sect sucked in a breath of cold air, and even the overlord's eyes shone with a cold light. No wonder he was suppressed in the competition. Once he became the successor of the great dragon, his every move would be imbued with unparalleled combat prowess. Interesting. I'll remember this Lin Xian. However, so what if he's the successor of the great dragon and the successor of the 9 sons? The prodigies of the tyrant swept through everything. He has a lot of trump cards, but after my cultivation grows stronger, if the gap in our cultivation continues to widen, suppressing him won't be a problem at all. Other than comparing their talents and trump cards, these geniuses were also comparing their cultivation speed. Once they were able to break through a cultivation state, they would be able to stand above all the other geniuses. It was even possible that he could completely trample the others under his feet. All right, since you're so heavily injured this time, you should hurry up and recover. The overlord looked at Gu Feng, his eyes flickering. Although they were from the same sect, he was still secretly on guard against Gu Feng. After all, the other party was from the Earth sect and had cultivated an imperial scripture. Once the other party was given the opportunity to grow, it was very likely that the other party would surpass him. Gu Feng swallowed the medicinal pill as he prepared to enter seclusion to cultivate. However, he suddenly turned cold and looked at the starry sky outside. What's wrong? The tyrant was puzzled. Gu Feng said that there was a spirit boat up ahead, so let's go and take a look. I keep feeling that it's somewhat familiar. With a wave of the overlord's hand, the spirit boat changed its direction and accelerated. When they got closer, Gu Feng suddenly stood up and said, that spirit boat belonged to Lin Xian. They are also on their way back. Catch them quickly. The crowd was in an uproar. The tyrant looked forward, his eyes emitting a cold radiance. Are you sure? Gu Feng nodded. He couldn't be wrong. He had met Lin Xian more than once or twice, so he was very familiar with Lin Xian's trump cards and the weapons he often used. That spirit boat belonged to the other party. Interesting, I can make my move now. The overlord's eyes lit up and the other's eyes turned red as well. In this vast universe, if he were to kill the other party and steal the other party's treasures, the people of the Tao sect would probably not know about it. These people moved out quickly. In the spirit boat ahead, Lin Xian frowned. He abruptly looked behind him. Someone was catching up. Run. He sped up the black earth. Bai Susu wondered if they were from the medicine sect, or were they from the earth sect? He also looked carefully. Then he said that it was the overlord's spirit boat. They were from the earth sect. The two parties, one in front and one behind, started a chase in the universe. At the back, Gu Feng gritted his teeth. Oh no, we were discovered. The overlord said, so what if we were discovered? Attack. The spirit boat emitted a terrifying radiance, turning into a divine sword and moving forward. The array on the black earth flickered as it continuously traveled through space. The two of them chased one after the other. At the back, Gu Feng gritted his teeth, took out a few 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs, and ate them. He said, everyone, I'm going to use my spatial mystique to travel through space with you. However, my power is limited. When I get close, I'll need you to attack. The overlord nodded. Let's move then. The spatial aura on Gu Feng's body became more and more terrifying. He directly shattered the void, forming a spatial tunnel, and charged forward. In an instant, he was near the black earth. The overlord and the others reached out and grabbed. The black earth shook, and Bai Susu's expression changed. She waved her hand, and a small umbrella flew out from between her eyebrows. The power of wind and thunder surrounded it. The wind and thunder umbrella flew out of the black earth and continued to expand, enveloping a part of the world to block the palm of the overlord and the others. Lin Xian was surprised. This wind and thunder umbrella was not ordinary. It was actually a great sage artifact. It seemed that Bai Susu's identity was more terrifying than he had imagined. However, at this moment, other than the overlord, there were also many experts from the Earth sect. Even if Bai Susu used a great sage artifact, she would not be able to withstand it. Moreover, those people would probably use their great sage artifacts soon. Gu Feng and the overlord definitely had them. As expected, the void mirror flew out and fought against the wind and thunder umbrella. The wind and thunder umbrella seemed to be frozen. The power of wind and thunder on it directly shattered the void, and the two fought against each other. On the overlord's side, a huge cauldron appeared. It seemed to have turned into a sky and pressed down. It was also a great sage artifact. It seemed that it wanted to completely suppress the black earth. At the critical moment, Lin Xian took out the heaven-devouring jar and created an endless black vortex to block the heaven transformation cauldron. Moreover, the heaven-devouring jar became more and more terrifying. The black vortex completely turned into a black hole. Damn it, what is this thing? It actually blocked my heaven transformation cauldron. The overlord was surprised. Gu Feng, who was beside him, also gritted his teeth. He wanted to use a divine ability, but he spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it. Previously, he was besieged by so many experts and was seriously injured. However, the black hole in front of him was boundlessly terrifying. It cut off the world. Finally, the black earth disappeared. Behind, the overlord and the others gritted their teeth and continued to search. Great. Bai Susu heaved a sigh of relief. Then she took out the formation. Our void gate is nearby. Entering the void gate and teleporting back to Holy Abyss City should be much easier. Next, they used the formation to communicate with the starry sky coordinates in the universe. A spatial gate opened. The black earth began to teleport. Then it disappeared. Not long after, the overlord and the others also opened the spatial gate and disappeared. When the two spirit ships appeared, they had already arrived at Holy Abyss City and were still chasing. Bai Susu gritted her teeth. Damn it, these guys are too arrogant. They're already back, and they still won't give up? But fortunately, Lin Xian and she both had trump cards, so the other party couldn't do anything. When they arrived at the Dao sect, Bai Susu sneered. Then she flew out and shouted coldly, People of the Earth sect, you're too arrogant. Do you want to attack us? Do you really think the Dao sect is just a decoration? Her voice traveled into the Dao sect. The people in the Dao sect were shocked. Someone dares to attack the people of the Dao sect, and it's the people of the Earth sect. What's the meaning of this? Are they trying to turn the world upside down? In an instant, countless figures rushed out of the Dao sect. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.